Okay. Well, I got a show till 7, but then I can give it to you at 7 if you want. Okay. That's good for now. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, no, I hand it over to these guys at 7. So. Then could I just stand over here and watch the game? No, I'd like to stay here. I can just even stand on the bench or something. Yeah, no, what's your name again?
That'd probably be good.
Ron, right. I'm Reed. How's it going? Yeah.
I gotta reach against my tripod. What you got? Good? Good? Good. Switches. Switch it. That's at intermission, at the break, come here.
It's one of the storied programs in Canadian university hockey, having won 15 national titles. The University of Alberta Golden Bears present the Oilers prospects with their final test as rookie camp comes to its conclusion tonight. This marks the 26th time the Oilers and Bears square off, with the U of A holding a slight 13-12 edge all time in the win column.
This is the biggest one. I think we stressed it on the ice a bit this morning. It was great that we went 3-0 in Penticton, but this is the one that everyone seems to remember. This is the most heated, the most fun, and this building will be packed tonight. We're looking forward to it.
The boards are hard, corners are sharp, and it'll get a little bit getting used to, but it'll be fine.
Well, I think it gets feisty because we're not allowed to fight in this game, and I think that gives a little bit more confidence to some other players that you got a chance to run around a little bit, and I don't know, it gets chippy. Guys are, we want to win this game. I think that's the biggest thing.
After a solid Young Stars Classic, the Kajula Puljujarvi Bennick line remains intact. On the back end, Matt Benning and Caleb Jones draw back in, as does Ethan Bear, who missed the last 2 games in Penticton attending to a family matter. It's a time of transition for the Bears, as they have lost 7 of their top 10 scorers from last season. They will have a few familiar names in the lineup, as former Oil King Stefan Legault, Rhett Raczynski, and Riley Kieser, as well as former Oilers farmhand Graham Craig, are in action. The goalies for this one are Nick Ellis for the Oil and Luke Siemens for the Bears. Tom Gazzola, Oilers TV.
I'm going in the tunnel.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome to Clare Arena in Dallas, the University of Alberta, for tonight's exhibition game between the visiting Edmonton Oilers rookies and your University of Alberta Golden Bears. This is the 26th meeting between the two teams since the series began in the 1988-89 season. The Golden Bears lead the series with a 13-12 record. The team got a copy of the game plan moving into roster changes for tonight's game. Tonight's roster changes are brought to you by the Glen Salem Sports Medicine Clinic. First for the visiting Edmonton Oilers rookies, not dressed with goal number 40, Kevin Bouchard. On defense, number 90, Aaron Kirby. Number 91, Dallas Valentine. And number 92, Kyle Jacobs. On the forward lines, not dressed, number 49, Tyler Benson. Number 16, Carson Stanley. And number 64, Thomas Foster.
Are we up on the webcast? Are we good to go here?
On the line of the Golden Bears, setting number 1, Brendan Burke. Number 5, Jason Cannon. Number 15, Ben Carroll. Number 18, Mason Bailey. Number 24, Will Clarkchuk. And number 26, Cole Tomlin. At this time, the Golden Bears and University of Alberta Athletics would like to thank their corporate sponsors for their continuing support of Golden Bears and Athletics. Thanking ATV Financial, Global Television, Sherlock Holmes, Big Rock Brewing, Wayward Steel, Adidas, Graham Construction, Maritime Travel, Purpose Leather Body, National Door Coach, The Brick, Van Express, Kansas Industries, River Valley Health, United Cycling,
The result was the University of Alberta 5-2, and thus began a tradition that now enters its 26th game, and a chance for the Edmonton Oilers rookies with their 3rd win in a row to tie that lifetime series. Good evening, everyone. Alongside Bob Stauffer, Jack Michaels. I know it's the man to my left's one of his favorite nights.
Oh, yeah.
And I enjoy coming here because it has the feel of an old barn, and it is an old barn. 1959 Clare Drake Arena, capacity 3,009. We expect that number to be approached tonight as the Oiler rookies coming off a sensational Penticton tournament, Bob, where they were impressive, and they were impressive in a variety of ways in winning all three down in BC.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen an evolution take place, Jack, I think, with the Oilers rookie squad over the last 3 or 4 years after the 2013 showing, which, frankly, the Oilers lacked some offensive juice. They had, some toughness and some size, but they couldn't score. And I remember coming to doing this game, we were worried that the Bears were going to light them up. That would be the year that Alberta would win their first of 2 back-to-back national titles under Ian Herbers, and Alberta was loaded up front offensively. But the last 2 or 3 years, Bob Green and his group have really ensured that there's been some high-caliber, 20-year-olds that can maybe push from the bottom end of the roster. And then the other end of the equation is there's been some pretty good high-end skill as well. Last year at Rexall Place, we had Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, Darnell Nurse. Those are 3 huge parts of the Oilers' future. Tonight, we're going to see Jesse Puljujärvi. So
6 points at the Penticton tournament.
Exciting guy. And this is going to be an interesting game because,
Well, give me a scouting report on the University of Alberta, Bob. Last year, the Golden Bears failed to repeat as champions. They were going for 3 in a row.
Right.
This is a program that's won 15 CIS titles, but it's also a program that's missing its top 3 scorers from a year ago and 5 of its top 7, including its All-American, or all North American defensemen, all Canadian defensemen. I'll get to it eventually. But, Bob, help is on the way.
Yeah.
Not all of it will be on the ice tonight.
And that's part of the story. I mean, frankly, Alberta, by their standards, Jack, they had an underwhelming year last year. They did not win the conference title, and they were up 2-0 in their opening game of the national championship and blew it against St. FX, who was basically playing at home. The tournament was held in Halifax. The Bears may have lost 5 guys up front that won back-to-back national titles, but none of those players had more than 82 points in a season in the Western League. Alberta is bringing in 4 players that are north of those numbers. They're just going to have 2 of those guys here tonight. So let's focus on the 2 that are here. Braden Cox was a 109-point scorer with Medicine Hat a couple years ago. We had Cole Sanford here representing the Oilers rookies last year. That's who was Sanford's playmaker. And then the other guy to keep an eye on is Luke Phil.
A couple of 35-goal seasons.
Right, a good player. He played on a line with Jaden Deschanel, who's been impressive for the Oilers rookies. So, those 2 guys will give the team a little bit of juice up front. Again, 3 forwards, 2 for sure, another one potentially coming. Not in the mix for Alberta up front, and a D as well. The Oilers rookies, I think, are going to have a better transition game, and I think they also have the higher-end offensive ceiling with their lineup.
And part of the reason they'll have the better transition game is that Ethan Bear is back in their lineup, and he's coming off a fantastic season in the Western Hockey League where he was among the top 10 scoring defensemen.
Yeah, Bear and Caleb Jones, the Oilers need to hit on one of those 2 players. And we're talking another year in junior and then maybe a year and a half to 2 years in the minors, but they need to see some progression with those guys. I do want to put a shout out right now. We should tell our folks listening and watching us right now on EdmontonOilers.com, listening on 630 CHED. Elmer Benning, 46 year this season as a scout for the Montreal Canadiens. Here to watch his grandson, Matt Benning, and I think you'd agree with me, Matt was quite impressive in Penticton.
He's playing with Ethan Bear tonight.
He is playing with Ethan Bear, so it's going to be a fun game.
What about goaltending? Nick Ellis gets the start for Edmonton. That was the story in Penticton, a .956 team save percentage for the Oilers. It's easy to go 3-0 when you've got numbers like that, and Ellis delivered 34 saves in a Friday night win over Vancouver. Luke Siemens for the University of Alberta had a good win-loss record, Bob, but that save percentage, .906, probably needs improvement if the University of Alberta is seriously going to contend for yet another national title.
I have high standards. I'm the guy that gave Jesse Puljujärvi only a 6 out of 10 on his performance in Penticton, and he had 6 points in 2 games. Luke Siemens simply was not good enough last year for Alberta to win the national championship. Every time the Bears needed a big save, it wasn't there, and he was not their starter when they won those back-to-back University Cups. He's going to get pushed. Sean Burke's son, Braden Burke, is here, and they've also got Kenny Cameron, who had an undefeated year last year at Nate, played briefly for Medicine Hat and Spruce Grove in Major Junior.
Cameron went 34, 32-0, something like that.
Ridiculous mark. So they've got, Alberta's got more depth in defense and goal than they've had. Their issue is they're just lacking a little bit of firepower, really, for this game. They'll have it when they move forward, but this will be a challenge tonight for them for sure.
They're going to be starting tonight with Caleb Jones and Matt Benning on defense. I should correct myself. Nima Linen's playing with Ethan Bear tonight. That's one slight tweak from Jerry Fleming for this University of Alberta game in Penticton. And often in Penticton, we've seen Bear played with Ben Becker, who came off a very strong tournament. He's going to be playing with Cale Detzel tonight, who acquitted himself quite well. He's here on an invite, the one-time Red Deer Rebels. So that's your starting D pair. We've talked about the goaltending, and now it's time to see whether the Oiler rookies can pull off 3 in a row. This one's at the Drake for the first time ever. They played at Rexall Place last year, and Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, as Bob alluded to, led the Oiler rookies to a 6-3 victory. The Golden Bears looking to get back on top in the CIS. They'll look for a catapult-type win tonight at Clare Drake Arena. We'll have the opening face-off, the Oiler rookies and the University of Alberta Golden Bears, when we come back on your home of Oilers hockey, 630 CHED.
Maybe ask Gus. For the Oiler rookies and the University of Alberta Golden Bears. We should note that tonight will be played by CIS rules. No delay of game for puck over glass, and automatic rather than the hybrid icing. Also keep in mind, if this game should require extra time, you'll go 5 minutes of 4-on-4, then 5 minutes of 3-on-3 before heading to a shootout. Our referees tonight, Kyle Kowalski and Cody Ride, with linesman Dion Foster and Darren Spurgeon. The Oilers wear the white outlined in orange and blue, and the Golden Bears in their green and gold outlined in white. Our exclusive live coverage on Oilers TV and 630 CHED of the 26th edition of this great series. The University of Alberta with a slim 13-12 edge in this series. The Oilers won 8 of the first 13 matchups, but the Bears have won 8 of the last 12. They've lost the last 2, however, and they start the night with a face-off win for Cole Lineker, who last year suited up in this game for the Edmonton Oilers as a rookie camp invitee. Oilers pinned in their own zone early, and a quick shot coming from a sharp angle by Josh Durko is ultimately held in by Cole Lineker, a one-time teammate of Leon Draisaitl with the Kelowna Rockets. Going to work is Tanner Clarkson, cutting behind the net. Backhand wraparound score. And Nick Ellis just lost sight of the puck, and that was a relatively easy short side backhand wraparound for Tanner Clarkson, who spent 5 years playing junior A hockey in BC and Alberta.
Well, Tanner Clarkson is the only player in the Golden Bears lineup tonight that did not play major junior hockey, and he's off to a great start this year for the Bears. He's been a very good offensive player early in the year, and that was a real good move, and he's trying to cement himself as a top 12 forward for the Golden Bears this year.
Off the face-off, the Oilers will dump it in.
Christopher will get it in deep, and the Oilers go to work short side. Wrister by Platzer, and a save made by goaltender Luke Siemens. They're going to call that an unassisted goal for now for Tanner Clarkson. I will say, though, Bob, it's not often you see a guy fooled like that. I'm wondering whether the shallow ice behind the Oiler net might have caught Nick Ellis a little off guard. There's no adequate way to prepare for an ice surface that is not the standard ice sheet, at least in today's North American game, where all the rinks usually are so standardized. Of course, this facility being built 67 years ago obviously carries different dimensions than your standard 200 by 85. Driven in by the University of Alberta, and it's whipped up the left-hand side by Ellis. And now Platzer will break out of the zone left to right for the Oilers. Hits Patrick Russell in stride. A wrist shot and a blocker save made, and then a drive by Detzel. Sails wide. Getting it with the right pad was Siemens, and then the lead pass intended for Trevor Cox is off the mark. That will be the automatic icing for the Golden Bears and bring the face-off back into the Oiler attacking zone, where Chad Butcher, he got banged up quite a bit, but acquitted himself very well down in Penticton, is back in the Oiler rookie lineup tonight. Fourth game in 6 days, we should mention, for the Oiler rookies. Although, as you mentioned, Bob, earlier this week, University of Alberta's had a bit of a grueling travel schedule as well.
Yeah, they went to Vancouver, and they bussed there on Friday, played Saturday night, Sunday day, bussed home, and got home Monday morning from Vancouver.
So both teams may be a little leg weary tonight. Here's Greg Chase looking left-hand side. That's picked off by Riley Keyser, who won a Memorial Cup with the Edmonton Oil Kings. Off the rush, a wrister and a save made by Ellis. The rebound poked back to the point where it's handled by Sawyer Lang. He'll send it down low left corner, and that's plucked off the Dashers by Nichols. Run into, however, by Detzel, and skating up the right-hand side is Butcher. He'll throw it on net. Siemens did not play that all that cleanly, so he decides to just fall on it and get a face-off coming to his left. With pressure coming hard was Jaden Deschanel. 2:20 having elapsed in this first period. Again, Clarkson, unassisted, a backhand wraparound 30 seconds in, has staked the Golden Bears to a 1-0 lead.
And the boards here are lively, and everything you dump theoretically into the corners often kicks back out in front, and there's a little extra room back behind the goal.
Off the draw, a wrist shot from Colin Shirley, and that's a save for Siemens. So what do you think, about 185 feet? Off the draw, a blast, and a stick save once again, handled by Siemens against Matt Benning. The puck chopped back to center by the Bears and whipped back in, at least attempted, was Lane Bauer. Did not get it in deep, however. Picked off and cleared into the Oilers zone by Sawyer Lang. Here's Mitch Topping, high slot, drive, save made by Ellis. A face-off will come to his right. We've played nearly 3 minutes. The Oiler rookies have outshot the Golden Bears by a count of 5-3. But again, Clarkson, with that backhander short side wraparound, has given the Golden Bears an early 1-0 lead over Edmonton. First preseason game, Bob, we'll have it Monday night for you live from Rogers Place. A 7 o'clock start, split squad game against the Calgary Flames.
And looking forward to it.
Off the draw, battled for, controlled by Tomas Sustel. He'll drop it off and quickly advanced by Caleb Jones. Retrieving the puck, Mitch Topping for the Bears. He'll go cross ice, looking left wing for Clarkson, the goal scorer. He had it, but then poked away. Topping will jump up in the seam, and from center ice will backhand it in. Caleb Jones once again on the retrieval. Hands off to Drake Kajula, coming off a goal and an assist in the Monday win over Winnipeg that punctuated a perfect 3-0 weekend for the Oiler rookies, their third consecutive Penticton tournament victory. The Oiler rookies dump it in, and it's retrieved by Dylan Brado of the University of Alberta Golden Bears. Up the right-hand side, Cox outreach for the puck for Nima Leinen, who looked awfully smooth down in BC. Ahead to Kajula. He'll gain the line, dish off, quick shot off the post from Puljujärvi. And he hunts for the puck. 2 goals and 6 points, 3 of which came in the Monday matinee win over the Jets. Bears scramble out of their own end. Coming right to left is Cox. He'll hit center ice in stride. A couple of 25-goal campaigns for the Medicine Hat Tigers, but here the Bears are offside. 4 minutes in, and it's still 1-0 for Alberta. 6 players from last year's club off to the pro ranks. I think most recently I spotted Levko Koper signed an AHL deal down in Charlotte. And the reason I say that is Lineker's wearing 40, and for so long I'm used to seeing Koper and those long locks coming out of the back of his helmet.
Well, and I would say of all the guys that graduated from the U of A, he had the best chance to play in the AHL. Might get some games. Derek Ryan, a former Golden Bear captain of Charlotte's team, the American Hockey League last season.
Off the draw, shot from Sawyer Lang, and a save made by goaltender Nick Ellis. And now we got a penalty coming, and it will be a hooking call. 4 1/4 into this first period. The Oilers trailing by a score of 1-0, and a hooking call right along the end boards, and the guilty party is going to be Taylor Cooper.
Taylor Cooper finished up in the Quebec League last year, had a 60-point season a couple years ago in the Western Hockey League with the Regina Pats. Out comes the first unit, which features Puljujärvi on the point, and Kajula with Bennick and Russell up front.
Cooper, a Sherwood Park product. Off the face-off, here's Caleb Jones. Working the high slot. Wrist shot into a crowd that was deflected. Backhanded by Lang off the glass and ultimately taken away by Stefan Legault. Charging in left-hand side, Legault. Looked to drop it off to Keyser, and ultimately the puck winds up in the corner. Legault and Keyser, of course, both former Oil Kings.
And that shows you how fast Jesse Puljujärvi is, because Stefan Legault can fly. He's the Golden Bears' fastest forward.
Here's Caleb Jones up to center ice. Back pass for Kajula. Now Puljujärvi whistles a wrist shot that's deflected by topping out of play, and the faceoff will remain in the Golden Bears zone. 1:25 left on the power play. We talked about goaltending, Bob, but special teams also pivotal in the last 2 games for the Oilers. They didn't give up a power play goal all weekend, and they got 2 in each of their last 2 wins. Faceoff win for Kajula. Puljujärvi attempts to hold the zone. It crawled outside, and Edmonton is guilty of offside.
Well, modern penalty killing, and you've heard Ken Hitchcock allude to this when we were in St. Louis last year. The Golden Bears were one of the first programs under Clare Drake to really pressure the puck on the PK, and that has been a standard mark for the Golden Bear program since the late 1960s.
Off the draw, the Oilers will control. Center ice. Picked up and handled by Kajula. He'll drop to Joey Bennick, high slot Jones. Moves it, Puljujärvi, top of the left circle. A blast by Jones? No, he elected to keep it on his stick. Instead of Kajula. Tried to drop it for Bennick into heavy traffic. Wrist shot off a loose puck, was stopped as Patrick Russell found the disc, but Siemens made an alert save. Kajula give and go with Puljujärvi. Back to the high slot, Caleb Jones. Top of the right circle, forced to back off. Swings it over, Puljujärvi. Back to Jones, right point shot, deflected, save, then a backhander off the post, the rebound off the post, Puljujärvi. Siemens completely down and out, but the puck is swept up ice by Rhett Raczynski, the one-time Oil King, and the Bears somehow maintain their 1-0 lead as the Oilers hit back-to-back posts. Siemens didn't exactly play that rebound well, but he got a break. Greg Chase into the offensive zone for the Oilers, left to right. Over to Ethan Bear. Right half boards, it's Butcher. Left side to Benning. Glanced off a skate and pounded the other way by Jaden Hart, the Spruce Grove native. And the Oilers will reset. Bear gets it back from Benning, and the power play has come to an end. So the Oilers fail to convert, and the game remains 1-0 for Alberta. Up the middle. Deschanel hits Chase in stride. Driving in right wing. Wrist shot, save Siemens. Big rebound. And the Bears are able to redirect into the near corner. Not so sure I like how Siemens is handling the puck thus far tonight, Bob. May catch up with him at some point.
Fair comment. That's been an issue for him in the past.
Lead pass, Taylor Cooper looking left side. Reaching for the puck, Keyser can't get there. Oilers break out. Christopher flying up the right-hand side, also from Sherwood Park. Handed off back to Betker, a drive and a save made by Siemens. Rebound Platzer, backhander Russell denied, and Siemens as the save, and that time he controlled it well. The Oilers have reeled off 12 of the game's first 15 shots on net, but still trail 1-0, and that's not including the 2 posts they hit on the power play. 7 minutes into the game, somehow the Bears, coached by Serge Lajoie, have a 1-0 lead. What, if anything, have you seen stylistically from the Bears under Serge Lajoie as compared to his predecessor, now an assistant with the Oilers, Ian Herbers?
Well, this is such a new group, but Ian's teams really pressured the puck, and they like to play the game in the opposition end. I think Serge is a little bit more focused on defense.
Here's Russell, off the draw, center. Platzer back to the point, and Betker did not handle that cleanly. He'll have to circle back to center ice, and saucers one across to Detzel. right-hand side, fed along by Russell toward the U of A net, and it's handed off alertly by Siemens to Graham Craig. Ultimately cleared by the Bears back through the middle. And now Sustel will charge in from the left-hand side. Back defensively is Lang, and he breaks up the entry pass, poked away ultimately from Lane Bauer. And then Bauer got a friendly bounce off the linesman off an attempted clear by the Bears and thrust it back in. Raczynski looks to backhand it out, but it's held in by Niemelainen. And the Oilers go back to work in search of the equalizer. Now Yudlowski up the right-hand side, skating right by it. Raczynski off the turnover, wrist shot, score! Colin Shirley ties the game, and finally Edmonton breaks through after simply dominating the last 6 or 7 minutes of play. 1-1.
Yeah, the ice has been tilted here. An unfortunate break for Alberta, Jack. They tried to go up the right side boards and hit the linesman's skate, but the Bears then couldn't clear it after a sustained sequence in the Golden Bear end. And Colin Shirley, who scored 37 goals last season for the Kamloops Blazers, expected to be a 90-point guy. He's done a real good job in the PK as well in Penticton. He showed a little bit of that offensive ability, beating Siemens high to the blocker side.
Wrist shot, top left corner from between the circles, and we are tied at 1. Oilers have outshot the Bears 13-3, and that's an icing against the Bears right off the draw. Sustel will get credit for the assist, but as Bob indicated, it really started with the inadvertent bounce off the linesman, and Bauer, to his credit, wasted no time in putting it right back in and getting the Bears back on their heels. You said at times the University of Alberta last year found itself trapped in its own end for prolonged stretches, and we've seen that again tonight. Here's Trevor Cox driving in from the left-hand side. The Bears' goal scorer was Tanner Clarkson. Up through center ice, Kajula moves it to Bennett. Wrist shot off the rush, glove save, well handled by Luke Siemens. That might be his best save of the night, and he's been under heavy duress. That's 14 shots for Edmonton in less than half a period.
Well, it's been at least 15 years in this matchup where I've seen the Golden Bears this badly outplayed to open up a game. Again, the Oilers have made a real emphasis in the last couple of years. Skill, skill, skill. And, CIS, there were a lot of undersized skill players 15, 20 years ago that didn't get chances, but the last several years, greater emphasis on that with the Oilers organization, and we're seeing it here tonight.
And again, D-man Jason Fram and forward Tyson Bailey right now at NHL rookie camps in their own right. Up the right-hand side, swatted in, which kind of curbs the Bears' depth a little bit. Again, University of Alberta has done well to bring in some high-scoring players out of the WHL. Far side, and here's a loose puck that's poked in by Jamie Crooks, who had a goal in this game last year. Just a simple dump in, and the Bears won the battle coming out of the corner, Bob. And Crooks, who is no stranger to finding the back of the net. He had 13 a year ago as the leading returning goal scorer, and he pots home the go-ahead goal. So it's 2-1 for the Bears, despite being outshot 14-4 in the first 9 minutes.
Well, Jamie Crooks scored 37 and 33 goals in back-to-back years in the Western Hockey League. He's one of those guys that should be, a top 6 consistent scorer. Had a good freshman year coming to Alberta. Second year sort of was a forgotten man and boxed out of their top 6 when they won their second straight championship. Rebounded last year, but he's good around the net. He's got a good stick.
But that's essentially a nothing play, Bob, where the Bears win a battle and all of a sudden it's a scoring chance. And again, Ellis seemed a bit surprised.
Well, I think he's having some issues with those backboards and just where he's at in terms of in the goal. It's a different feel playing in this arena.
Lineker with the assist on the goal for Jamie Crooks, and he's got goals in this game back-to-back. Again, the Bears are guilty of icing, though, right off the center ice faceoff. So Edmonton back in the attack zone. It'll be Chad Butcher with 10:35 to go in this first period. Oilers trail again 2-1. Cale Detzel, shot from the right point. That was deflected. And here's Ben Bedker, the towering D-man. Put it down low. Brado looks to reverse. And it's going to be picked up by Ryan Rahill. He didn't get it out. A slapper by Bedker redirected. And now it's loose in the far corner. Deschanel digs it out. Butcher, who's really showed a willingness to compete along the end boards, once again comes away with a loose puck. Getting worked over by Brado. Again, also a guy who's shown a willingness, Bob, to absorb punishment, to make a play. And the Oilers continue to mount a furious forecheck here. Dug out Deschanel from Chase. Another Bear flip, but not out. Detzel holds the zone, takes a hit to make the play, and now a 4-player scrum right at the blue line. Finally tossed out safely by Cooper, but that's going to be another icing call. And that was a heck of a kind of momentum-turning shift. If the Bears thought they might seize on that go-ahead goal, well, that line went out and just dominated the University of Alberta in its own end.
Well, I've been impressed with Jaden Deschanel, who is from Edmonton, had a 44-goal, 98-point season in the Western Hockey League. Ironically enough, his uncle, Richard Hamula, played for both the Kootenay Ice and the Alberta Golden Bears. Good friend of Jarrett Stoll's.
Off the face-off, Niemelain shot redirected off the post and off the skate and in. It went off Ryan Rahill on a shot from the point that looked like it had no chance, caught the outside of the post and then was inadvertently kicked in by Ryan Rahill. And the Oilers catch a break. Time 10:19.
Right now, Marcus Niemelainen, Jack, is saying, I hope I have some of these breaks during the.
That's right. He scored one goal last year. He's got 2 in 3 games as an Oiler rookie.
And both of them were ugly.
Nevertheless, Edmonton ties it up. Right now they're announcing Christopher might have gotten a piece of that Niemelainen shot. So we'll see long-term to whom the goal is credited. Right now they're saying Christopher might have gotten a piece. It's sent in deep by the Oilers. 2-2, a centering pass, Russell, and he's brushed off the puck, and this will be picked up, collected, and cleared by Sawyer Lang. Ahead to Raczynski, left wing with Ethan Bear back defensively. Fierce battle for the puck ensues, deep left corner. 9 minutes to play, first period. We've had 3 goals in a span of 2 minutes and 8 seconds. And the Oilers emerge with a 2-2 tie after it. They've outshot the Bears 16-4. In this opening frame. A steal at center ice by Lane Bauer. And he'll flip it back into the offensive zone. Bauer, an Edmonton Oil King last year, finished with 29. Matt Benning holds the zone, but forced to back off as they decide that it crawled an inch or 2 outside. So the Oilers have to bag off. They tag up, and here comes Sustel to Bauer. Back to Sustel. Backhander score. 5-hole. A beautifully executed play. Bauer to Sustel, and the backhander completely fools Luke Siemens. Edmonton with its first lead of the night at 3-2. Time 11:35.
Golden Bears have been guilty of just some egregious neutral ice turnovers. A little bit of bad luck in the first one, but that time just a misplay that led to the odd man break the other way and a good give and go, and we got ourselves a 3-2 game, and I sure hope you took the over.
Sustel opened up Luke Siemens and tucked it 5-hole without difficulty. Face-off, won by Lineker. Up the right-hand side for the Bears, and Legault tried to feed Crooks, but that play was offside. So with 8:18 to go in the first period, the whistle goes, and the face-off will come back to center.
Well, Sustel's a guy the Kelowna Rockets are counting on this year as a 19-year-old. He is one of those rare third-year European players.
Had 20 goals a year ago for Kelowna. Off the face-off, Joey Bennick trapped in his own zone. He had 4 goals in Penticton, 2 assists as well to tie Puljujarvi for tournament scoring leader with 6 points. Oilers circle back behind their own net, try the right-hand side. Bennick, backhand flip off the glove of Crooks, handled by Bennick. Left wing for Puljujarvi. First lead of the night for Edmonton. It's 3-2 for the Oiler rookies. 7:45 to go in the first. Plenty of action in this one. Puljujarvi. Drag move around Kieser, then sets a screen for Bennick. Back behind the net for Kajula, right corner. Shadowed by Brado, rams him against the boards. Kieser and Bennick collide, and the Bears finally dig it out of their own zone. Crooks to Legault, 3-on-3. Oilers are back defensively, and nowhere for Kieser to go with the puck, so he just drops it behind the Oiler net. Ellis gives it a look, and coming out with it is Caleb Jones. Jitterbugs his way past Taylor Cooper, who, to his credit, recovered and slashed the puck off Jones's stick. Clarkson with a flip back into the zone for the Golden Bears. Cooper goes back to work, erased along the boards by Jones. Lead pass Chase. It's a breakaway for Greg Chase. Shoots and saved by goaltender Luke Siemens. That's one he almost had to have, where you could almost envision Kenny Cameron warming up. Although, it's worth noting, he does have 15 saves already in this hockey game, and we've played only 13 minutes. Shots are 18-4 Edmonton. The Oiler rookies with a, relatively speaking, slim 3-2 lead in light of that shot clock.
Well, they've been infinitely the superior team to this juncture in the game.
Butcher wins the draw. Detzel up the right-hand side. I agree with you. Even on the second goal, yeah, you lose the puck battle, but Ellis wasn't quite aware when that puck slid out into the slot, and the Bears briefly took a 2-1 lead. Here's Butcher with control of the puck for the Oilers. Back to the point. Shot Betker and whistled off the pads of goaltender Siemens, who was screened, but nevertheless well positioned. Cooper gave it away to Chase. Weak shot toward the net. That's going to be scooped up by Luke Siemens. But this is evidence of what you were talking about as the potential albatross for the Golden Bears this year. And they are spending a ton of time in their own end, Bob. They have not gotten off their heels since the first minute of the hockey game.
Well, Jack, it's my belief they've actually upgraded their defense, but of course they don't have Jason Fram. But we're not seeing it, and it's a team defense thing for me.
Platzer off the draw, blasted wide by Ethan Bear. Here's Christopher, short side Russell, couple of whacks at it, right pad save made by Siemens, and he'll be forced to cover again with 6:23 remaining in this first period. No breaks during the periods in terms of extended timeouts. That's the other slight rule adjustment, so they just flow right through these 20-minute periods. Edmonton traveling left to right in the first as they're in front of us, and Platzer able to control off the draw. The Oilers go back to work. Far corner, it's Platzer. Christopher briefly open in the slot. Platzer couldn't get it to him, and it's cleared by Jaden Hart of the Bears. Left wing, Trevor Cox. He'll gain the line and roll it behind the Oiler net. Here's Hart, shadowed tightly by Platzer, who's got him completely tied up in the far corner. Bear tried to rake that puck free, did so, but Cox got it back to the point. Yadlowski. Now Mitch Topping, wrist shot swallowed up by Russell. Puck trickles behind the net. Bear won the battle, lost the puck, however, to Jaden Hart, and the Bears go back to work. Point to point, a drive from Rahill into traffic, blocked. Platzer over to Bear, and he'll go high off glass back inside the University of Alberta zone. Recovered by Yadlowski, and he'll just drop it to Rahill. Stumbles his way up through the neutral zone, and now it's Legault looking left wing. Beautiful anticipation by Benning, and here come the Oilers 3-on-2. Over the line is Bauer. Wrist shot from the point, save, rebound, and Benning missed an open net. Might have had his stick tied up. Susel finds an opening for Bauer, and he did miss an open net. An absolute gimme from the left faceoff dot, and Lane Bauer missed it. So the Oilers' lead remains just 3-2. Alberta dumps it in. Here comes the hard-charging Bauer. In over the line right wing. Back to Susel. Bouncing puck on net. A save made by Siemens. Rebound grabbed, controlled, and cleared by Crooks of the Golden Bears. Flip back towards Sawyer. Lang knocked it down, hacked it back inside Oiler territory, and no icing will be called. Shots are now 21-5 in favor of Edmonton, and we're not including the two posts and an absolute gimme for Lane Bauer that were not converted. Here's Puljujarvi. He's hit one of those posts tonight, nudges it back into the Alberta zone. Craig sifts one ahead for Cooper. He'll bounce it into the Oiler end. Big hit on Detzel, went down in a heap. Betker pursuing. Yadlowski beats him to the spot, takes an elbow for his troubles, and a sharp angle shot sent wide. Mitch Topic pinches down low left corner with his team down a goal. The Bears look for the equalizer. Here's Cooper, right circle, shadowed by Kajula, backhander, and that was deflected just wide. Topic threw it in front, and Keyser couldn't find it. A lunging Bennick trapped it underneath his left hip, but then gave it away. Here's a centering pass, Cooper, bouncing puck, and Betker threw it back into the far corner. Keyser will stay with it, but the Bears need a change. 3:45 to go in the first. It's still 3-2 for the Edmonton Prospects. Here's Drake Kajula back behind his own net. He'll leave it for Betker, and the Oilers on a reset here with pressure from Josh Durko up ice, as well as Raczynski, and now joining the fray is the man who opened the scoring, Tanner Clarkson. So we got her going early, 30 seconds in. Then we had 4 goals in a span of 3.5 minutes. Oilers lead 3-2 after that outburst, and now are offside, coming over the line left to right. 3:21 to play, and just a lonely 5 shots on goal for the Golden Bears, but they're right there. Siemens, it hasn't always been pretty, Bob, but he's kept his team in the game, stopped a couple breakaways. It's 3-2 for the Oilers.
Well, it probably should be a 5-1 game, and Jack, I got to tell you, I probably broadcast 250 games here. since 1989. I've never seen the Golden Bears outshot 21-5 in the opening period at home. They're getting taken to the woodshed here.
Niemelainen drives it in. Yeah, I'm used to you kind of recounting those type of shot totals with the Bears somehow getting beat like 3-2 in a game. They've outshot the opposition 51-7 or something.
That happens once in a while.
Absolutely. The university level, you've told me on more than one occasion the Bears have had national championships go up in smoke in games like that. Here's Deschanel through the neutral zone for the Oilers. Right corner, Greg Chase. They've still done pretty well. 15 since 1964. Here's Cox trying to move his way through Deschanel. Took it away. High slot. Wrist shot. Save. Siemens left the rebound, but it was rolled wide by Butcher. Tracked down deep left corner. He'll survey inside. Nowhere to go. And then ultimately a sharp angle shot fired wide by Chase. Benning into a crowd. Redirected. Dropped at the feet of Siemens. Butcher hacked. Worked over by Brado, who does well to control the puck and then knocked the stick out of Butcher's hand. No slashing call forthcoming. Trevor Cox up to center. A high floater sent off the short glass and recovered by Caleb Jones back in his own zone as we come up on 2 minutes to play in this opening period. Still 3-2 for the Oiler rookies. They get it in deep. Russell to Platzer. Lost side of the puck. Then Russell was hauled down, and there's the penalty. And it's another one against Sawyer Lang. I think that's his second tonight. He'll go to the box, and Edmonton back on the power play, looking to extend its current 3-2 lead with exactly 2 minutes left. That means if the Bears kill it, we'll be at the end of period one.
Yeah. Sawyer Lang got it at a 50-point season in the Western Hockey League with the Prince Albert Raiders a couple years ago. Played with Leon Draisaitl and Graham Craig, who's now with the Golden Bears program. Spent some time with the Oilers organization as well. Get another look at Puljujarvi in the first unit power play.
You'll recall Leon began his junior career with Prince Albert, then acquired by Kelowna in time for a playoff push. Off the draw, Caggiula on the power play will hand to Caleb Jones. Top of the right circle. Still on his forehand. Comes off the right half boards. Looking to slide it to Bennick, but the latter did not field the puck cleanly, and the Oilers will have to regroup in the neutral zone. Good news is they have 15 feet less to travel. Here's Jones, weaving his way up to center. Back pass for Puljujarvi. He'll gain the line despite a token whack from Rhett Raczynski. Puljujarvi sends it back to Caggiula. Jones passed on the one-timer and said saucered it back to Puljujarvi. Bennick in the high slot, side of the net, Russell. Backdoor, one-timer, Caggiula stopped by Siemens. Did not elevate the puck. Russell centered around the boards, and thus Siemens got it with a left pad. High slot, Bennick. Jones calling for it. Instead, backdoor again to Caggiula. That puck at his feet. He'll recover it with 55 seconds to go in the frame, and the Oilers looking to build on a 3-2 advantage. Here's Puljujarvi, down low left corner. Feathering one back to Jones, just inside the blue line. Puljujarvi one more time, top of the left circle. The reigning World Junior MVP, backdoor, and Caggiula fans again. He's had 2 or 3 good looks on this power play, and yet Edmonton has not found the back of the net. Russell has it back left corner for the Oilers. We're down to a half minute to go in this opening frame. Bennick gives it back. Bears down to 5 on 3.5. No stick for Crooks. A drive from the point finds its way through, but a save for Siemens. No rebound. Token pushing and shoving. Jones got it on net from the point, but that's one of those where you really needed the rebound because Crooks had no stick, so it became essentially 5 on 3.5.
Yes, Puljujarvi, Jack, we're starting to see that playmaking side. I mean, he can shoot it too, but it looks to me like the Golden Bears are setting up their PK to take that shot away from Yessi and opening up some windows there for Drake Caggiula. He had 2 good looks, and Luke Siemens, an experienced goaltender.
Curtis Muka, this is a month's worth of work for him with the University of Alberta Golden Bears.
It's unbelievable.
I mean, and the quality scoring chances is what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Forget the shots. Off the draw. It's Benning to Bear. Wrist shot. That was redirected. Right corner. Butcher dishes off Deschanel. And now Butcher from the face-off dot wheels it across. Bear, left circle. Butcher, right circle shot redirected. Sitting in the blue paint and tugged free. And a chance for a clear for Graham Craig. And he does so up the left-hand side. And that will do it for both the power play and the period. And somehow, despite getting outshot by a 5-1 margin, 25-5, the Oilers have to, and throw it in quotation marks, settle for a 3-2 lead on goals by, well, At this point, Christopher credited for the one we thought Niemelainen had, and then Sustel follows it up. Oilers scored 3 goals in a span of 3:24 to turn a 1-0 deficit into a 3-2 lead at the break. But when you factor in some goalposts and a yawning net that somehow Lane Bauer missed from about 15 feet, you're right. This could very easily be 5-1.
Jack, this was a dominant performance from the Oilers rookies. And again, this is a team that went 3-0 in the tournament in Penticton. They were the best team there. I'd argue Calgary probably had.
Calgary might have had the most talent when they played Edmonton head-to-head because no Puljujärvi.
No Puljujärvi or Kajula. But the fact of the matter is, the Oilers went 3-0 in the tournament. They found ways to win. Their transition games have been pretty good. Really, the Golden Bears scored on 2 of their 3 opportunities in that period. They had the puck in the Oilers zone.
And not great chances either.
On sustained cycles 3 times in the entire period. This could have. There was a game here several years ago. David Oliver scored 4 goals. It was 11-4 victory for the Oilers rookies. And this has the same sort of feel tonight. I mean, Puljujärvi, again, they can't touch him out there. Like he's just completely on another level. So, and the lack of attention to detail from the Golden Bears at times for me is a concern as a person that cares about that program. I mean, they're just getting, they come up the ice. How many turnovers have they had through the neutral ice? Now, you watched Ian Herbert's teams play. How simply was not happening. So, Serge Lajoie is going to have to make some adjustments here. His team, when they gain possession of the puck through the neutral ice, forget about making fancy plays. Get it deep and then try to cycle it down low. They do have some bigger forwards that can do that, but from an Oilers rookie perspective, there are a lot of positives in that period.
Yeah, and if you're the Bears, maybe try to get Nick Ellis to handle the puck. I mean, that was the one blemish. This isn't Hockey East. It's not one gleaming 15,000-seat facility after another, where it's the standard 200 by 85. I felt both on that short side wraparound and even on that puck battle, the puck popping out so quickly seemed to surprise him just a little bit. That's, you would think,
he's
going relatively easy adjustment.
Yeah, he's going the distance, Jack. Yeah. And frankly, the other thing is, I think the Bears are tired. Like, I think that trip
more so than the Oilers rookies.
Yes, because I think the Oilers rookies are in better shape, and the Golden Bears are working themselves into line. That's the other thing that we should explain here. When this game used to be played, there were no rookie tournaments. This would be the first game of the year for the Oilers rookies. Whereas conversely, for the Alberta Golden Bears, usually they will have played 4 or 5 exhibition games. And now what we've got is we've got an Oilers rookie squad that's already played 3 games, and they've been ramping it up and going for a week. And they were, as I mentioned, the far superior team in that opening period. If I'm Jerry Fleming, I'm just keeping the gas pedal, or keeping it on the throttle, going after him, because that was a pretty impressive display, and I think they got a lot. Good period from a couple guys I want to just mention, and one of them is Colin Shirley of the of the Kamloops Blazers. He had a great period, and scored a goal, was involved in setting up another one, and again, it could have been a 5-1 opening period, Jack.
He's Bob Stauffer. I'm Jack Michaels. Reed Wilkins on the other side of this timeout. 20 minutes complete at Clare Drake Arena, the hallowed facility home to the 15-time national champion University of Alberta Golden Bears. And a guy who added to that total, one-time Golden Bear head coach Ian Herbers, now an assistant with the Oilers, is our guest when we come back. It's 3-2 for the Oilers rookies, looking to go 4-0 tonight at the Drake. This is live coverage courtesy of 630 CHED and Oilers TV.
Would you mind taking one with myself? Oh, there's Kevin Lowe. Oh, awesome. We get to meet Kevin Lowe. Hi, Colleen McGregor.
Great to meet you.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing here? Hi there. How are you? I'm Kevin.
Yes. We know you. We were there the night they signed you from where? Quebec?
I came from Quebec, yeah?
Yes.
Well, I'm heading over that way. Is that where you're going right now?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll walk with you guys if that's okay.
Sure.
Hello, thank you for calling Rogers Place. Zach speaking. I'm all booked up for the 22nd, correct. What are the dates? Yeah, let me check here. I'll put you on hold, thank you. Hi guys, how are you?
Good, how are you?
How may I help you?
We're coming here to get our tickets.
Your tickets?
Yeah.
With last name, please.
McGregor.
McGregor, let me grab them. Look here for a sec. I believe this is you guys. Nice to meet you.
Yes, Colleen McGregor.
I'm Zach Cassian from the Oilers.
Awesome.
How are you?
Awesome, what a thrill
Nice
to meet you.
guys. I'm excited for the tour just as much as you guys are.
Oh, you're just getting...
Yeah, I haven't seen much.
Yeah.
It'll be a first for me too. Can't believe how big the entrance is.
Yes,
right?
I know. Oh, there's so much more room.
Right?
Yeah. It's great.
You guys want a hot dog? On me. You want a hot dog? So who's your favorite player all time on the Oilers?
You
guys
are.
used to watch. Me? Oh, you guys are too nice. Too nice.
Oh, well, with the Stanley Cups, it's hard to say.
Right.
We saw so many good players then.
I bet, right?
But now we're moving on.
Where'd you guys sit at, in the old rink?
Right behind the penalty box.
Okay.
Just up in the Blues, second row.
Okay, so you saw me in there last year.
Yeah?
Yeah?
Yeah, you were pretty hot.
Hello, guys.
Hi.
Did you always?
How you guys doing? Good. I'm Oscar.
I'm pleased to meet you,
Number
Colleen.
77.
Hi.
Oscar,
What
nice
a
to meet
thrill.
You look good, eh?
Vintage sweater.
Oh, yeah. How'd you like the new place?
It's beautiful.
Good? Let me show you your seats.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay.
Oh, this is great.
Is this good?
Oh, yes. Because never had handles. This is going to be great for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
You need help?
No, she's good.
Good. 3 and 4.
Oh, these are going to be great seats.
This is gonna be good, huh?
This is just as... Yeah, we got good seats.
Hello, Anna. Hello, Colleen. I'm Tom Gazzola from Oilers TV. Welcome to your new home. We hope you love Rogers Place as much as we do. It's a beautiful building. We're very excited. We hope you are too. I also hope that your tour guides are taking very good care of you. Oscar and Zach, please take care of these ladies. They're very special. We also wanted to do one other thing. We thought it'd be neat if you two helped break in this massive, beautiful, magnificent scoreboard. It's the biggest in the league. Enjoy.
Nice little movie.
This is exciting. You. Rogers Place now. I suppose Gretzky is always in everyone's heart, but their lineup was somewhat great. It was just wonderful watching them. You could feel the vibration in the Coliseum when you went to a game.
In fact, Mark Mache got the husband and I tickets to go to the Vancouver game because they were sold out. And I guess he had the tickets and he had 2 for us. So he was always a favorite of mine.
Oh, that's nice. Well, that was thrilling. We were the first ones on here. This is really a thrill.
Nice. So I heard you've been,
Thank you very much.
over for like...
How's it going?
Hi.
I'm Darnell.
Glad to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
This is really a thrill. Get to meet all these Oilers.
How are your tour guides? Good? Not too bad? They've been helping you out?
Oh, yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, they've been all right?
Oh, yeah, it's been wonderful.
Not sure we're supposed to. I think this way. We're going to go this way, take a picture in front of the doors. So I guess I have to lead the way, but I don't know where I'm going either, so we're all just going to figure it out.
You guys are all so tall.
Yeah, you're leading us out.
Yeah, you play, you send your Cam Talbot.
You got to lead us out.
First star of the game. Lineup, here we go.
We need you guys tonight. We need you two. Big 2 points here.
Really appreciate you being a loyal fan.
Yeah, you sure take care of your fans.
Well, you guys take care of us, so thank you for that.
And welcome to Rogers Place by the Numbers. I'm Jessica Kent, and it is my pleasure to give you a quick rundown of the fascinating facts and figures that makes up this amazing facility. We've only got about 3 minutes, and it's one big place, so let's get started. Ground was broken on Rogers Place on March 3rd, 2014, and the first event in the building was booked for September 16, 2016, just 928 days later. Not a lot of time when you look at what was accomplished. At times, an estimated 1,200 people worked on construction a day. And that's probably a good thing, since the building required about 9,000 tons of structural steel and over 24,000 cubic meters of structural concrete. The general contractor and construction manager was Edmonton's very own PCL. The resulting structure is 141 feet tall and has a total area of over 1.1 million square feet. An average home is about 1,500 square feet, which means the new home of the Oilers, Oil Kings, and live entertainment in Edmonton has a bit more room for seating our close friends, with a capacity of about 18,500 for hockey and over 20,000 for major concerts. The building is divided into 7 separate levels: event level, mezzanine level, main concourse level, Scotiabank Suites level, PCL Loge level, upper concourse level, and media level. There are 57 executive suites, 24 theater boxes, 3,100 club seats, 900 loge seats, 300 ozone seats, 500 drink rail seats, 3 food-inclusive clubs, 2 club lounges, a full-service restaurant, and 1 beautiful Ford Hall, which is open to the public 365 days a year. Rogers Place was clearly designed for the fans, but from the very beginning, the designers also had environmental responsibility very much in mind. 87% of construction debris was diverted from landfills for recycling or reuse, and 20% of the materials used in the building's construction were from recycled content. Rogers Place will use 37% less water through the use of efficient fixtures, 14% less energy using motion-activated lighting, and the facility is electric car friendly with 12 charging stations already installed. Plus, one of the best numbers of all, 0, as in 0% food waste, which is our target every day, since all of Rogers Place's excess food, when possible, is donated to local causes. Oh, and the scoreboard. The scoreboard is 46 feet by 46 feet, about 4 times the size of the scoreboard in Rexall Place, and that makes it the largest true high-definition center-hung scoreboard in the NHL. There are also over 1,200 HD TVs throughout the building, so you aren't going to miss a second of the game when you're walking around the building on that impressive main concourse, which, in case you were wondering, is longer and wider on average than an Olympic outdoor track. There's plenty more to discover here, but our time is up. So for now, thank you for joining me at a quick look at the numbers at Rogers Place. There may be a quiz later, but the only thing you really need to remember is this: Rogers Place is one great building. This is the moment many Oilers fans have been waiting for. Here is a sneak peek at the Oilers dressing room for the very first time. Come have a look.
obviously there is that wow factor when you come in. I've never been in an area, the locker room, quite as big as this one, that's for sure.
This is the first thing the Oilers will see when they walk in the main door. Here we are in the foyer, and as you can see behind me, there are 5 Stanley Cups, and there's even room to bring another one home.
Part of this is the thinking is occasionally when the fans come to visit the players, they can, they can be in the room but not necessarily get into the deeper aspects of the room.
We're now in the equipment room, which is just down the hallway from the foyer. As you can see, there are the retractable equipment shelves here behind me. Unlike Rexall Place, all the equipment is in this room. And welcome to the theater room. This is where the coaches and players can collaborate on different plays right here on this big screen.
We can take away the right side, we're going to take away the right side here, and we're going to track back through the middle of the ice.
This room is pretty self-explanatory, but here's something the players aren't completely used to. All this natural light coming in.
This is about making sure that the team is in a position to be successful. And when you look at all the different components, the dressing room is very well done. But when you look at the training area, all the fitness areas, the rehab areas, it's best in class, and that's been the goal from day one.
Well, there you have it, your first look inside the Oilers dressing room. Stay tuned to PCL Ice Level for a full feature on this space once it's been broken in a little bit. Reporting in the Oilers dressing room here at Rogers Place, I'm Jessica Kent.
University of Alberta through 20 minutes of play. They did find the Golden Bears another shot on net. Still 25-6 in that first period. The goal scorers for Edmonton, Shirley, Christopher, and Sustel. And for the Golden Bears, they scored 30 seconds in on a nifty backhand short side wraparound by Tanner Clarkson. The other goal coming off a puck battle that the Oilers lost along end boards and was tapped in by Jamie Crooks. And with that, we're underway. Jack Michaels, Bob Stauffer with you. Kajula able to win the face-off, and the Oiler rookies now traveling right to left. Bennick to Puljujarvi and a quick wrist shot. And the second period begins like the way the first period went throughout with a Luke Siemens save. He has been peppered tonight. He's got 23 stops. Kajula hooked from behind, stayed with it, tried to center, broken up by Sawyer Lang, and it's backhanded up the left-hand side for an icing call. Automatic icing here at the University of Alberta at Clare Drake Arena, Bob, and this is, for me, a bit of a golden jewel. You got the benches on the opposite sides. I mean, this facility, especially for you having covered and been a fan of this program for so long.
And the SID for
years. Yeah,
absolutely. I've never seen the Bears get smoked like they were in the first period, though, Jack, over the last 25 years. It was impressive by the Oilers rookies. A lot of speed, a lot of talent.
Off the draw, shot by Platzer, save Siemens, rebound into a crowd bear, and that was knocked down by Siemens. Battle for the puck. Platzer ridden into the boards, and I believe that's going to be a penalty as well. This will be a third power play of the night for Edmonton, hooking the call against the Bears 45 seconds into this second period. Edmonton looking for the first 2-goal lead of the game for either side. While we have a moment, Bob, probably worth mentioning, I mean, what kind of game did we see today between North America and Sweden?
It was unbelievable.
I don't care who wins the tournament. For me, the story of the tournament will be Team North America.
And based on the American performance, Chuck, that might be the last time we ever see Team North America, because the U.S. certainly missed some of their great young players.
Off the draw, lead pass, Joey Bennick, and he gets it back from Russell, circles behind the net to save Siemens. The net is still wide open, but there was no seam for Bennick to thread a pass through to Puljujarvi. So the Oilers regroup up top on the perimeter. Power play, one-timer Puljujarvi, and he had it blocked by Yadlowski. High slot, Jones swings it over, snapped over to Bennick by Kajula, who's calling signals, and Jones recognizes that fact, gives it to Puljujarvi. Russell in front of the net looking for a tip. A shot comes in, and it redirected off the pads of goaltender Luke Siemens. Thrust back behind the net by Puljujarvi, and now Kajula with 1:10 to go on the power play. Bouncing puck corralled by Caleb Jones. Top of the right circle. Feathers one, Puljujarvi. Shot, score! Beat him 5-hole, and again Siemens going post to post. Just too much room between the wickets. And Jesse Puljujarvi has his third goal in as many games for the Oiler rookies. Russell set the screen in front. 4-2 Edmonton on the power play goal.
Well, we saw Caleb Jones walk the line there, and it looked like he was going to shoot, and then he slid the puck across, and Puljujarvi didn't get all of it, but he shot through the screen, and Luke Siemens had some challenges picking the puck up, and that was rather inevitable. I mean, the power play has been absolutely lethal. Dating back to the games in Penticton, they continue it going. 5 power play goals now in the last 3 games.
4-2 Oilers. First 2-goal lead of the night. Off the draw, another Bears icing call. Are they going to say Russell got a piece?
I guess they are.
So Puljujarvi and Jones with the helpers on a tip in by Patrick Russell. I mentioned he flashed in front of Luke Siemens, and evidently he got a piece of that puck. So Russell, who had a power play goal on Monday in the win over Winnipeg, picks up his second in as many games, and it's 4-2. Puljujarvi, 7 points now in the 3 games he's suited up for the Oiler prospects, who were offside coming from right to left. And we have seen on 3 of the 4 Oiler goals, the Bears take an immediate icing call.
Yep.
And they're just, as you said, they're just spending a ton of time in their own end.
I'm not going to make excuses. I mean, there are some challenges here. You get a coach like Ian Herbert's leaving the program to go to the Oilers, but this is a new team. And they lost 7 core players, 5 of their top 7 forwards, and their top 2 defensemen, and it's shown so far here. And that's not a penalty. They're going to call that?
I thought it was a clean shot by Bedker. Now he is a hulking defenseman. He came in to the body, and he's going to get nailed for interference. Time 2:21. And the Golden Bears awarded their first power play of the evening, and they could use it. Down 4-2 and losing the territorial battle throughout tonight. Now they'll get a chance to go 5-on-4 and try to get back in this game.
Brendan Yudlowski was Ryan Murray's defense partner with the Everett Silvertips, and 5th-year guy. He's getting a look here on the power play. I don't know if he's going to see a lot of power play time once the regular season gets going. Dylan Brado's out there as well. He had 46 points with Medicine Hat a couple of years ago.
Off the draw, Brado lining it up, dishing off. Here's a shot by Cox. That was broken up by Niemelainen out there with Detzel, Lane Bauer, and Colin Shirley, who scored back in the first period. Here's the dish. Cox open. Yudlowski shoots, and Ellis got a piece. That was ticketed for the upper left corner, and it glanced off the shoulder of Nick Ellis and flew out of play. 17-19 to play second period, and 1:41 on the penalty to Ben Bedker for interference.
Jack, you just saw there why Trevor Cox had 109 points 2 seasons ago over the Medicine Hat Tigers. I mean, he just freed up Yudlowski for a great look.
Off the draw, though, cleared by the Oilers' length of the ice. And Siemens conservatively going down to play that puck rather than skate out and try to hit a man with a lead pass. Here's Luke Philp in over the line. Fanning on it was Brado as he moved it over to Cox. Then back to Brado. Kicked it over to Yudlowski for a drive. Redirected wide, and shot down was Jaden Hart as he got a piece of the puck initially, and it came back into the pads of Ellis, who will look at a face-off to his left. Ellis was not the starter of the year. Providence College won the NCAA Division I championship. He came back the year after, a club not necessarily expected to go back to the NCAA tournament, and he got him there with a brilliant performance. 1.8 goals against and a save percentage, .936. And the Friars made some noise. I mean, they got to the NCAA tournament eliminated in double overtime. Colin Shirley up the right-hand side. Bauer takes the dish. Oilers shorthanded for another minute, but spending some time killing this penalty in the Bear zone. Finally, Alberta's able to extract a loose puck, and Craig will try to get things going. Graham Craig played 2 years ago with Edmonton's now American Hockey League affiliate in Bakersfield. At the time, they weren't affiliated with the Oilers. They were in the ECHL. Shot from Sawyer Lang, threaded through from the high slot. Save Ellis. Rebound, kick to the far corner. Craig will dish off, left circle. Waiting, moving it down low, backhander short side, and a save made on a play set up initially by Stefan Legault. Ellis with another stop. Legault tried to go again to Raczynski, but anticipating the play was Matt Benning, and he'll drive it the length of the ice. 15 seconds left on the penalty to Betker. Time for one last Alberta rush with a man advantage. Lead pass to Philp. He'll gain the line right wing. Yedlowski, the Edmonton native, rolled it in front, no one home. Holding on to it, little give and go. Cox didn't get it back. One-timer Brado, save Ellis. Rebound gobbled up by Platzer. Oilers back to full strength. Christopher strides the center, and the puck popped out of play on the near side of Clare Drake Arena, which is where the Bears are gathered. 4.5 gone by second period. Still 4-2 Edmonton after the failed Alberta power play.
Well, of interest, you mentioned the Providence connection. The Golden Bears went in and had an NCAA trip a couple years ago at Ian Herber's last season at the U of A and beat Yale 3-1 and then pounded Dartmouth by a score of 6-1 in back-to-back games. They'll be going to Nebraska Omaha this year, and that's where Mike Gabinet, Claire Drake's grandson, is coaching. He was Nate's head coach last season after Serge Lajoie replaced Herbers here at the U of A.
Once played for another Edmonton connection, Derek Laxdal coached the Oil Kings to a Memorial Cup. Off the rush, a brilliant save by Siemens, stopping Drake Cajula left corner. I was just filling in the degrees of separation for you, Bob. And of course, the Oilers are going to call for delay of game, but that's not being called here, as it was flipped out of play by Taylor Cooper, and that's an alert play by a guy who knows the rules. Pugliarvi immediately raised the hand and then recognized in this format, again, no delay of game for flipping the puck over the short glass. That was a smart play by Cooper. Bears were running ragged a little bit.
Cooper lost his 20-year-old spot last year in Regina when Cole Sanford got traded
Off
there.
the draw. Here's Deschanel with a quick shot to save made by Siemens. Wide open net, and unfortunately for Edmonton, Butcher was unable to bury it. He hit a defenseman on his way there. Another missed opportunity for the Oilers to really break this one open. Bears come charging into the offensive zone. Yedlowski, right corner. Clarkson, centering pass and fanning on a one-timer was Cole Lineker. And Bob, if the Bears are going to win this game, they have to convert those. They have not had many looks like that tonight. Here's Greg Chase. Hung up with Mitch Topping. The puck rolls free at the Alberta blue line. Chase recovers, right corner, centers, quick shot, back door. And Deschanel just missed Butcher. That was another missed opportunity for Chad Butcher. Deschanel has it back at center ice. Moves in with Butcher. Little Chris Goss, and then a miscommunication allows Topping a steal and ahead to Legault. Gaining the line is Raczynski. Gives it back to Legault. Wide open Crooks down the slot. Missed the net with a wrister up over the crossbar. That's two missed opportunities, Bob, for the Bears in the last minute to get back within a goal. Still 4-2 Oilers as Benning pounds it up the right-hand side. Sustel did not get it out. He does have a goal tonight, as does Shirley, and he delivers a floater ahead to Lane Bauer. He'll gain the line. Drops it off. Shirley had his pocket picked neatly by Crooks. That was well done. 13:40 to go, second period. Oiler rookies on top 4-2. Alberta dumped it in, had not yet reached center, but they'll wave off icing. Niemelainen reverses the puck to Caleb Jones. Weaves his way through one man, then hits the activating Niemelainen. Left circle Shirley. Tried to center, deflected. Sustel there, and then between the hashes, it's grabbed and cleared by Jaden Hart. In over the line, Philp. Defended by Bear. Drove it back behind the net. Loose puck, four-player scrum in the right-hand corner. Plucked free by Kyle Platzer, and he finds Patrick Russell, who tipped in the Oilers' fourth goal to begin this second period on a power play. Looking for Christopher, who likewise redirected one that went off the post, and ultimately Rahill for an Oiler goal back in the first period on a shot taken originally by Ethan Bear. Here's Topping, up to center for Alberta. He'll dump it behind the Oiler defense, then runs into traffic in the form of Betker. Slid it over to Christopher, did not get it out. Nichols a shot right circle, and that deflected off a body in front. Held in by Yedlowski, put it back behind the net for Keyser. Defended by Platzer, wrap around Nichols, and that did not find a home. Pad save for Nick Ellis, and Platzer, although he was clubbed to the ice by Mitch Topping, did get it in deep, having advanced safely to the red line. Held in by Platzer, took another shot, this one from Keyser up high. Fanning on it originally was Detzel, but Platzer will come back to bail him out and lead the Oiler rush right to left. A pass was deflected by Cooper directly to Siemens. He'll drop it off, and Craig works it ahead for Lineker. Center ice gathered in full stride by Cooper, cut off by Detzel of the Oiler rookies. Off to Matt Benning, right half boards, and reaching for it, Joey Bennett. Looked like he got away with a trip on Graham Craig. Nothing was forthcoming. Lang held it in anyway, threw it toward the net, and Benning had the proper defense, launched ahead, and here's a chance. Drake Caggiula, left circle, wrist shot. That was fought off by Luke Siemens. Got a piece with his left elbow. Another shot, Puljujarvi had it redirected up over the net by Caggiula, and a fierce battle ensues in the near corner. What a steal by Bennick. High slot, wrist shot blocked. Got it back, fires, and just missed the net from point-blank range between the hashes. Puljujarvi with a rebound, and the Oilers starting to dominate again. But Crooks took it away, forced it to Lineker, and he'll chip it inside the Oiler blue line with 11:10 remaining in this second period. Edmonton still on top, 4-2. Bears led a half minute into the game. Since then, all Oilers. Caggiula will gain the line, throw it behind the net. Puljujarvi surveys, back to Caggiula for a wrist shot. Juggled and then dropped to the ice by Siemens, but there was Rehill who got it ahead. Here's a breakaway, Legault in on net, save Ellis, and coming over to make a great play without taking a penalty was Niemelainen. And we've seen that recovery speed in previous games in which he suited up. And that time it looked like Legault was in all alone, and Niemelainen with that long reach and extra burst able to bother him just enough so it wasn't a grade A chance.
Yeah, Marcus Niemelainen, a third-round draft choice. We talked about it in Penticton. Some people figured maybe it would go 40 to, say, 60, drop to the third round. Oilers have got something there. I mean, they're going to need to work with him. He needs to get stronger, but he's a smooth, effective player. Got a good stick.
Rehill off the draw. Slapper dropped by Ellis on a tip, and then he's able to cover up. And now Bedker wearing that C for the Oiler rookies, jousting with Jaden Hart.
Jaden Hart was a tough player and junior in Prince Albert. Jack, last year at this time, Jaden Hart was at the New York Rangers rookie camp and got invited to their main camp. I remember talking to Justin Sather and Mike Barnett. They were out in Penticton and having a conversation, and Hart got into a preseason game, scored 4 goals in the American Hockey League at the end of the year a couple of years ago.
Off the draw, shot by Hart. That deflected off the left pad of Ellis, and the rebound gathered, centered back to Hart by Cox, and that was broken up. Bedker and Hart go to battle again in the corner. Detzel lost his stick, in fact broke it in half, and still managed to edge it ahead for Bedker. Now Deschanel gained the line, chase threw one on net off the pads of Siemens, and then Deschanel's entry was deflected away and played safely up the right-hand side by Cox. Chase will cut it off for the Oiler rookies at center, and it's tossed back in by Bedker at the midway point of the hockey game. We've played 30 minutes. The Oilers have outshot the Bears 33-14. Their lead is a pedestrian 4-2, however. Nichols will dump it in. Niemelainen contains. Ethan Bear on a breakout. Lead pass left wing, handled by Deschanel. He'll cut to his right. Wrist shot, just missed blocker side. Siemens might have gotten a piece. Keyser won't get there. Centering pass. High slot open is Bear. He'll drop it. Wrist shot, Colin Shirley. Dropped by Siemens. This one he's going to fall on to kill the clock with 9:34 to play in the second period. The Oilers continue to pepper that Alberta net. And while Siemens often looks unorthodox, he's battling, and he's giving his team a chance to hang around here with 31 saves midway through the contest.
Well, I saw Luke Siemens twice with the Prince Albert Raiders. He was a 2-year starter in the Western Hockey League, was Luke Siemens. And twice with PA after playing a year in Moose Jaw. He absolutely stoned the Edmonton Oil Kings when they were a legit powerhouse.
Won 35 games 2 years in a row.
Yeah, and I mean, he can make some saves for you.
Off the draw, shot block, and that trickles outside to center. Why don't you give us, while we have a moment, a quick update on Team Canada and Team Europe?
The last score I got was 3-1, and I'm just seeing if it's updating here, but it was 3-1 for Team Canada up on Team Europe through 2 periods.
Up the right-hand side off a deflection. That climbed over the short glass and up into around the 7th or 8th row. And predictably, again, this place holds about 3,009, including standing room. I'd suspect we're maybe a couple hundred shy of that tonight, but it is packed for this annual battle between the Oiler rookies and the Golden Bears. Edmonton looking for its 3rd straight win in the series, one that would even the 26-game series at 13 wins apiece. They're offside following an ice draw are the Oiler rookies. So bring it back outside the Alberta blue line with 9:19 to play in the second period.
Well, speaking of the World Cup, the worst attended game in the last 20 years was in 2004 when the World Cup of Hockey was going on. I was also, on the precipice of a lockout year as well.
Driving in from the left-hand side is Mitch Topping. He'll dump it behind the Oiler defense, and Caleb Jones will drop it for Tomas Sustel. Now it's Jones. Left wing lead, Colin Shirley. He'll feather one behind the Alberta defense. Topping giving chase against Sustel, who tried to throw it back to Jones. That puck took a hop on him, and Nick Ellis selects not to play it. Jones does, and just drops it for Sustel. And I'm wondering whether that's Ellis just unsure of himself on this ice surface, because that one looked like an automatic where you come out. Oh, and maybe Matt Benning got away with a trip back behind the net. Again, the Oilers are having trouble extracting the puck from their own end. They finally do with a backhand flip up the right-hand side, intended for Patrick Russell by Benning. And the Oilers do get it in deep. Russell, as Edmonton completes a change, bottles up 2 Golden Bears, and in fact has drawn a penalty here with 8:17 to go in the second period. That's excellent work by Patrick Russell. The Oilers were bailing out of there to get new personnel on the ice, and Russell, against a troika of University of Alberta Golden Bears, kept the puck in his feet and ultimately drew a penalty against Graham Craig. So Edmonton rewarded with its 4th power play of the evening. The Oilers are 1 for their previous 3. They're looking to extend a current 4-2 lead with 8 and change remaining in the second.
Well, it was the power play against Winnipeg, Jack, on Monday afternoon that really gained the separation for the Oiler rookies, and they have a chance to do it again here.
But Rachensky wins the faceoff, and the Bears whirl it up the right-hand side. This time Ellis does elect to come out and play the puck, does so to Puljujarvi, and here comes Edmonton right to left. Kajula will gain the line, get it back from Russell on net as Kajula let go through off the pads of Siemens, eventually out to the high slot. Bennick, a little drag move, pressured by Cooks, saucers to Jones. Puljujarvi face-off on left side, tricky little wrist shot, saves Siemens. Rebound gathered by Russell for the Oiler rookies. Now Kajula spins it out to the high slot. Another spin move by Jones, and good puck movement. Puljujarvi watched a pass from Bennick go errant, then threw one off the pads of Siemens to get it over to Kajula. Back to Jones, drag move around Crooks. Now he'll go backhand sauce over to Puljujarvi. Left corner, waiting, gets the puck level, gives it to Russell, gets it right back, coming out of the corner, back door, wrist shot, unable to elevate over the prostrate Siemens was Bennick, and Siemens makes the save. Rebound to Caleb Jones of Edmonton. Now Kajula with 50 seconds on the power play. Curled a pass back to Jones that was not handled, and Edmonton has to reset in the neutral zone, and Jones will come off. Bennick charges right back in, drop pass Puljujarvi, back to Bennick, instead off the pads of Siemens, and redirected into the corner. Russell reverses, Bennick coming out of the right-hand corner, puts it on the tape of Puljujarvi behind the Alberta Golden Bear net. Puljujarvi still stick handling, out to Bear. Then looking to get it back on a cross-seamer from Kajula that was intercepted by Keyser and cleared length of the ice. Oiler power play down to 15 seconds. 6.5 to go, second period. Shots 39-14, Edmonton up by a deuce. Deschanel walks in left-hand side. He'll give it up for Bennett. Back to Ethan Bear, walks the line, high slot. Drops it for Butcher, then back to Bear, bouncing puck, and Bear could not find it in his skates in time. He'll just twist it back in as Alberta back to full strength. Chase stymies a rush heading up the left-hand side and right in front of the Oiler bench. He pops it out of play with 6:07 to play in the second period, and Edmonton still leading 4-2, but Alberta hanging around, and they've killed a couple of Oiler power plays here to stay within 2.
3-1 Canada up on Team Europe. 9 minutes left in the third period at the World Cup of Hockey. I'd like to thank first-time listener Dave for taking the time to text us with that update.
Here's Phil nudging it inside the Edmonton blue line. That was good research by you. Picking up the fact that he was also a first-time listener. Oilers are going to be whistled for a slash here. The Bears didn't have much going, but a bit of a chop, and that sometimes is a product of a little fatigue starting to creep in. 4 games in 6 nights, and the penalty will be whistled against a familiar recipient, and
Yep.
that's Greg Chase.
Yeah, Greg plays an antagonistic game, and sometimes he takes some calls, sometimes he gets some. I personally feel his best rookie tournament was a couple of years ago. So a chance for the Golden Bears really to kind of get back in this game, Jack. I mean, being outshot 39-14, but they have a chance to make it a one-goal game here.
Yeah, they can get it down to 4-3 before the end of the break. That'd be certainly a moral victory. Here's Yadlowski, back to Dylan Brado, walking the line with 5.5 to go in the second frame. 4-2 Oilers, but the Bears with their second power play. Wrist shot point blank, and Philp could not get it on net. Christopher has the rebound and sends one gliding down the ice. Platzer's going to kill some time in that corner, and he'll leave it for Christopher. And that's Platzer's key to the NHL, in your opinion, Bob. A guy who can give you 8 or 9 minutes and kill penalties.
Yeah, absolutely.
Up the right-hand side. It's not going to happen right away for him, but long-term.
Right shot. That's the big thing there.
Christopher, left corner for Ethan Bear. He'll lob it back behind the Alberta bench. Catching an edge, briefly stumbling there was Legault, and now Alberta on a regroup. Halfway through the power play. Legault on a stretch pass from Craig will leave it in the far corner for Raczynski. Now it's Legault. Gave it away, and Bear with an easy clear. And once more, it's Lang and Craig back to retrieve for Alberta.
Stefan Legault went to a couple Washington Capitals camps. He's had a tough night for the Golden Bears.
4.5 remaining in the second period. Craig gains the line. Sawyer, Lang put it behind the net, but it's blasted the other way by Lane Bauer, who anticipated where that puck was going and drove it towards Siemens, who knocks it down for Lang. One last rush for Alberta. They got about 23 seconds on the power play as Lineker walks in. Jones taps it away. Oilers force it back to center. Bears are going to regroup on the fly and try to tuck it back in, but their power play time is already down to 10 seconds. Walking in is Keyser. Could not get around Benning. Threw it behind the net, dropped off. Rahill launches one, blocked by Jones. Left it for Christopher, and now the Oilers come back to full strength and have an on-man rush brewing. It's Platzer to Chase, late with a shot, and it was tipped over the net, and the Bears have the rebound. And scrambling up ice is Keyser. He was crunched by Chase against the boards right in front of the Alberta bench. Oilers go D-to-D in their own zone, coughed up by Christopher at center. Stefan Legault for the Bears. Charges in, right side, shot deflected out of play by Betker, and with 3:25 to go in the second period, it remains 4-2 Edmonton, and the Bears did not even get a shot on that power play. They've been outshot 40-14 through 2 periods, 15-8 in this middle frame.
Well, they had a bit of a surge to start the period where the shots are probably even through about the first 7 minutes, but other rookies they've been flying. Different team, as we mentioned, Jack, maybe than what we've seen in past years, other than last year, where they had that tremendous front-end skill with the likes of McDavid, Draisaitl, and Darnell Nurse in the back end.
Off the face-off, Chad Butcher muscled it back to center. Oilers popping up the right-hand side. Chase over skates. Yeah, it's kind of a back-to-the-future rookie team for the Oilers, more like 2010 when you had Hall, Eberle, and PRV at that time. First-round pick in 2009, and some help from the back end back then. Some of those prospects have not panned out for the Oilers, but at that particular time, a pretty strong base from which to work. Up the left-hand side, it's where we've got our first look at Brandon Davidson.
Yep.
Chipped in by the Bears inside the Oiler blue line.
And that shows you, how far guys can progress. So when I say Marcus Niemelainen's got a chance to be a top 4D,
Niemelainen just got tripped.
He needs to put some work in over the next 3 or 4 years. But nobody saw Brandon Davidson being a top 4 defenseman when he was
even a year and a half ago.
Yeah,
it looked like he was maybe number 10 or 11 in the system.
He's worked his way up. Jaden Hart going to the box, no stranger.
Where, despite the fact he's coming off an knee injury, Bob, he's probably a favorite to land the top 6 role.
Oh, absolutely. I think that, I think he could probably play.
And with the signing to a PTO of Eric Greiba, there's the off-made assumption that basically then it's Osterley, Nurse, and Reinhart competing for one spot. Do you buy that?
Nope.
You think there's more competition than that?
Yeah, I think Nurse is going to be on the team, and he's going to play in the top 6.
So it comes down to basically
Reinhart, Fane, Greiba, Osterley.
Bennick right-hand side. Here's Russell. Along the end boards. The Oilers working on the power play with a 4-2 lead and 2 minutes to go in the period. Caleb Jones, high slot. They're 1 of 4 on the man advantage tonight, and Kajula has his shot completely stymied and swallowed up top by Cole Lineker. So $1:57 left to go in the period. Minute 28 on the penalty to Jaden Hart for the trip on Niemelainen. And the Oilers look to extend their 2-goal lead.
Jack, we've had years in this game where picks like Yanni Rita, Michelle Reason, they were barely noticeable. Jeff Delorier got lit up 3 years in a row in this game, took the loss. Jesse Puljujärvi is just simply on a completely different level than anybody else on the ice.
Well, and as you indicated, being the 4th overall pick, you're not shocked by that.
No.
You almost feel like he should be.
I'm just
Here's
shocked.
Puljujärvi to Kajula. Wrist shot, score! And that one squeezed through the blocker of Luke Siemens, and it's the type of goal that has to have a deflating effect on the University of Alberta Golden Bears. Even if they get out of this period down 4-2, it's a lot different than being down 3 with 100 seconds left, and that's one, no doubt, Siemens needs to have if the Bears are to return to CIS championship form. Time of the power play goal, 18-18, but that's not your traditional power play tally. Nevertheless, it'll be Drake Kajula's second goal in as many games and another assist for Puljujärvi.
I was going to say, I was shocked that Puljujärvi ended up going number 4, and I was shocked that Luke Siemens gave that one in. He's had a good stretch here before that goal.
So off the face-off, here's a dish. Shirley backdoor, unable to ram it home was Tomáš Sustal. Dropped off, top of the right circle, and the Bears are able to get it. It's chipped up the left-hand side. Brooks. Caleb Jones, by the way, will get credit for the second assist on the power play goal. Edmonton advances the puck through the neutral zone. It's cut off by Rahill, and now with a minute to go in the second period, Alberta regroups. D-to-D in its own end. Topping will send it right side. Up the gut, Crooks has one of the 2 Golden Bear goals tonight. Topping a shot left side, easily steered to the corner by Nick Ellis, where Colin Shirley awaits. Up to Ethan Bear, looking for Sustal at the blue line, taken away by Topping of Alberta. Tried to thread one through some traffic, got help with a one-hand poke from Yadlowski, and it's nudged back inside the Edmonton line. Here's Philp, who's been quiet tonight for the Alberta Golden Bears. Deschanel rakes it free off the half wall, and Niemelainen strides to center before snapping it behind the Alberta net. Here's Deschanel left corner. Overskating was Chase. Deschanel, little spin move. He'll give it up. Chase pursued. Craig looking to hem him in. Left corner Deschanel. Top of the circle. And it's Butcher looking for Bedker behind the net. Deschanel fighting for position as Greg Chase. The buzzer sounds, and Edmonton will head to the dressing room, having scored the only 2 goals of the second period, and in doing so, building its lead to a comfortable 5-2 working margin. The shots on goal for the game, 41-15 in favor of the Oiler prospects, including 16-9 in that second period after a 25-6 spread in the first. So better for Alberta, but not nearly enough chances, and they missed a couple in that second period that could have brought them within 1.
Well, there was a point-blank look for Luke Phillip. He had a good opportunity. This is a guy that can score a bit, you know, a good player for the Kootenay Ice. Joined Jake DeBrusk and Adam Haluka last year in that Memorial Cup run with the Red Deer Rebels, and he just simply didn't finish. And I would say a little bit of poetic justice, really. I mean, you take a look at the 2 goals that were scored by the Golden Bears. A smart play by Clarkson on the one, but it could have easily been 4 or 5-1 after one. It's 5-2 right now. Puljujärvi, I mean, they can't touch him out there.
But Siemens was almost out of that period, and then he gives up one.
Well,
that's pretty iffy against Kajula.
Kajula's got some offensive instincts. I mean, he had
25 a year ago.
Right, 50-plus points playing on a really good line in North Dakota that also featured Brock Besser as well as Schmaltz. So, I mean, they had some. I mean, they want to see an NCAA national championship. So he's a good player. He's one of the most heavily recruited players out there, especially in the spring. Some big-time guys once the old August 15 rolled around with Jimmy Vesey and even Matt Benning, who's had a quiet night, I think, for the Oiler rookies. But so much of the game has been played in the Alberta zone, right? And so there's been.
What about Ethan Bear coming into the fray? He's really starting to make name for himself in the system, and a guy that all of a sudden is looked at as a real promising prospect.
Ethan's issue, he's got to improve his conditioning. I mean, that's Jerry Fleming brought that up again today on Oilers Now, and you know, a guy gets 65 points. Let's speak in this day and age in the West. I mean, that's 90 points back in the mid 80s, right? Those are big time numbers.
It's fifth in the league among defensemen,
right.
And you know, I'm not saying it necessarily came out of nowhere, but it certainly put him on the radar in terms of elite prospects in the Oilers system.
Again, they need one of Jones or Bear, Jack. 3 years down the road, they need one of those guys to break through and to push. And you know, Jones is a left shot. He's a better skater than Bear. He's got, I'd say, superior physical talent to work with.
And he's no slouch offensively either.
No, but Bear can think and process the game, and he can certainly. I think when he's on that second unit power play, to me, he's got it, and he's on the second unit power play because he had to go back for a couple days to deal with a personal matter because he actually started on the first unit power play. But to me, Ethan Bear is a guy that can really, he can really think it, and he's really composed with the puck. And he just settles the play down. And I'll tell you, if the Seattle Thunderbirds get back Matthew Barzal, look out. They're going to have an unbelievable team this year, and Bear's going to be a big part of that.
Jack and Bob with you live at Clare Drake Arena. 40 minutes complete, and it's Edmonton 5, Alberta 2, as the Oilers look for their third straight win in this series. They're 20 minutes away from getting it done as they extend their 3-2 lead after one to 5-2 after two. Reed Wilkins coming back on the other side. You're listening to exclusive coverage of the Oilers and the Golden Bears from the Drake on 630 CHED and Oilers TV.
A real dogfight today. We're expecting a challenge right through a long time, and we need to be strong to be able to deal with that.
Lost his stick and got it back. Chara jumped into the left side. Breakaway pass. Beyond Draisaitl scores. And the Europeans, the Vagabonds from 8 different countries, put together for this tournament, have done it again.
I think a shootout or a breakaway is always 50-50 kind of. I just decided to take a shot and then hope it goes in. And I got fortunate in winning.
Gets himself loose. Matthews in front. He scores! Austin Matthews' first big goal in his new home of 1-0 North America. Shoots, Bobrovsky to save. Rebound, Nugent Hopkins scores. a determined North American power play makes this a one-goal game. It's 4-3. Morgan Riley moves in and shoots. Bobrovsky to save. Rebound. McDavid's on the puck. Can't get it by Bobrovsky. What chances? Here they are again. Off the post. Justice Bear nailed the post.
A 1-1 record with a chance to play against a real good team to get to the finals. We would have taken that. Now we're disappointed that we didn't win tonight, but we'll be ready. They're young guys. They're going to come and play. They're going to have fun doing it.
History was made today at Rogers Place as a handful of Oilers as well as players from Edmonton Minor Hockey Association hit the ice, and I will give you one guess who the first player was out there.
Pretty special to be on the ice and do all that. So I think that obviously the building speaks for itself, and can't wait to get going here.
Just to come out and get the first skate on this ice is pretty cool.
One by one, some of Edmonton's youngest aspiring NHL stars stepped onto the brand new ice.
It was really fun and smooth. And
Is it big? Yeah.
Skating with the likes of Connor McDavid, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Brandon Davidson, just to name a few, and our newly signed goalie Jonas Gustafsson.
This arena was built for the Oilers first and foremost, so we wanted the Oilers that were in town to get on it. And then you wanted to make sure that young kids have a dream. They have a dream of putting on the Oilers jersey.
Little Carson didn't know this was a historic moment, and when he found out, well, let's just say he was excited. For many of the Oilers, the last time they were in Rogers Place was when it looked like this.
I can't wait to play here. I think the fans are going to be great in here. I hope it's loud. I definitely am looking forward to it.
I think everybody's feeling pretty good coming into the year, so it's exciting times right now.
The next time you'll see the Oilers hit the ice will be September 26th in their first preseason game, the Battle of Alberta. Reporting here at Rogers Place, I'm Jessica Kent. Well, Edmonton, welcome to your Rogers Place. The concourses are bustling today with eager Oilers fans excited to get inside and see what Rogers Place is all about during the public open house. Nearly 50,000 people have gone through the doors by the end of the day with a unanimous reaction of wow.
Absolutely breathtaking. It's just beautiful.
Exceeded all expectations. It looks phenomenal in here.
To see it today was just amazing, amazing.
Fantastic. Edmonton should be very proud of this facility.
Waking up before sunrise, 12-year-old Ronan was one of the first in line.
I think I'd just like to see all of it because I think it'll be interesting to see.
I just think the arena is exciting. It's great for Edmonton, and we're excited to see it.
This is just awesome for the city. I want to check it out. It's awesome. There's no other words for it.
Through the pedestrian portal and into Ford Hall, many have been waiting years to get into this building.
I've been cheering for a downtown arena for a long time, ever since it came up. So, yes, it's really nice.
Oh, I love it. It's about time. I've been in Edmonton about 18 years now, and saying because I've been here, they got to replace Rexall.
James Torrance beat the crowds after winning the Rogers Place Open House First In contest.
One-time experience, the only time you can really say 30 years from now I'll be the first person to set foot in here. So I live in Red Deer. I made the drive up last night just to do this.
From the Gretzky mural to the loge level, Rogers Place surpassed expectations.
I love the whole arena setup. So much room and the seats are comfy. Oh, it's gonna be nice.
Until you add people to the mix, you really don't know where they're gonna go or what they're gonna react to or what they're gonna find as their favorite space in the building. So for me today, it's like a kid in a candy store. I just get to watch them and see what they like and what they don't, and then that gives us the opportunity to get better every game.
Some even got an in-game experience on the big screen. Construction began in March 2014. Now, just 2.5 years later, here we are. Iverson, he's like a kid in a candy shop.
So I talked to some of them. I asked them, I said, what do you think? And some of them are literally speechless, and they've been out of the building already for 5 minutes. They're still collecting their thoughts. So it's had a big impact on people, and what a number of people have said is that the building looks good on its own, and we got to see it empty. I've got to see it with dignitaries the other night, but to see thousands of everyday Edmontonians in it, it's pretty special. It's pretty cool.
So many smiling faces. The next time you'll see Rogers Place this busy will be at the very first concert, Keith Urban, on September 16th. Reporting at Rogers Place, I'm Jessica Kent.
At the banks of the Athabasca River, the perfect setting for a little sit-down with one of the newest members of the Edmonton Oilers, Tyler Benson. Tyler, you're taking part in your first rookie orientation camp. Take us through what this week has been like for you on and off the ice so far.
I guess off the ice, it's been good just getting to know the organization, some of the players that are a part of it, and it's been a tough couple of days with the fitness testing, and these skates have been pretty high paced, so they've been, I guess, a couple hard days, but they've been fun.
Week and a half since you were drafted by the Edmonton Oilers. What's this week and a half been like for you? Because we saw you at the draft. We talked to you right after you got drafted. You were grinning ear to ear, as you should be on a day like that. But what's it been like for you these last 8 or 9 days here?
A lot of excitement, I guess, not just for me. A lot of my friends are Oiler fans, my family. So just a lot of excitement, and I was pretty excited to be a part of the Oilers, and it was a really happy day, and I'm still pretty happy about it.
Take us through draft day for you, because I know the media side is one thing. It's a huge spectacle, obviously. 2-day event, but that's what we see in the interviews is just one small portion of the day. Take us through all the NHL behind-the-scenes stuff. What was that like? It's basically a gauntlet from what I've been told.
Yeah, I know once my name was called, it was a pretty busy day. I got down to the table, got to meet all the organization there, and then as soon as that happened, I had to go down, get lots of pictures taken, do some signing, and it just seemed one thing after the other. It just kept things kept popping up, and I had to do them.
Take us through the on-ice portion of this camp for you. You guys are on the ice for an hour and a half each group, the two teams that you're split up into, but there's also more ice times afterwards, and we've seen you do extra work. Why is it important for you to do some extra work, and especially in the middle of the summer when guys are worn out and just trying to get ready for the next year?
Well, I guess it's a development camp, so I'm just trying to get better, just working on little things like my skating with David Pelche, and just that's one of the areas I want to focus on. And so they've been tough, but no, I think I've been learning a lot throughout this, and it's been helping me.
What's your season been like? Because you missed a lot of time. You had a couple of injuries that kept you out of action. You shut down your season at a certain point, which is a decision I'm sure is not easy to make. Why did you do that? How is it beneficial? And how do you try to come back better than you were health-wise at the end of last season?
I guess just when I was playing, it was getting really frustrating. Playing through an injury, it wasn't fun. It was getting pretty painful. It was getting to the point where it wasn't just hockey. I was walking and starting to be painful. So I think it was just time for me to kind of focus on the injury and trying to get it better and heal it. And I guess now that it's feeling good, I'm pretty happy about it. And just hockey just that much more fun when it's healthy.
Who kind of helped you through all that? Because it's not an easy process.
I guess I got my family back home. They helped me a lot, just phone calls. But in Vancouver, I had my billets pretty close with them, and I guess they helped me a lot through this year, just kind of get my mind away from hockey.
How about your brother? You bring up your family. Your brother won a Memorial Cup with the Oil Kings a couple of years ago. You're a little bit bigger than him. I'm sure you describe yourself as a different player. What was the relationship like with Cole? And maybe how did he help you along, or did you guys challenge each other growing up? Because that's an exciting aspect that we would like to explore and find out more about. What was it like with him around the house and learning from your older brother?
Well, I guess he started playing hockey at a young age, so I kind of wanted to follow in those footsteps. So I was always watching his games. I think that's what got me started. And I guess around the house we were always very competitive. I think that got me it's the way I am. So I think we were always very competitive, and we battled at anything we did.
Who would always win?
Tough to say. Depends on what we were doing.
What's it like with the guys around here? There's 36 of you in the camp, meeting some of these guys, making friends. What's that aspect been like so far?
It's been good, meeting new players. They played all different teams. Guys playing in college, some in the OHL. Just a lot of different, hockey, the way they do things. I mean,
University of Alberta Golden Bears, but the Oilers 20 minutes away from recording their third straight win in this series, and one that would even the series over 26 years at 13 wins apiece. A brief interruption when the Oilers were guided by General Manager Steve Tambellini. Kenny Cameron has come on, and he'll replace Luke Siemens in net. So Siemens' night is done, 36 saves on 41 shots, and a drive from the point is handled by Nick Ellis, originally taken by Ryan Rahill from the right side, and Ellis bobbled, then maintained 21 seconds into the third period. So a better start for the University of Alberta Golden Bears in this period. And they started the game quickly, Bob. 30 seconds in, it was 1-0, but really, since that point, there's been maybe 90 seconds or 2 minutes where Alberta's been able to battle even on even terms, really.
Well, we haven't seen a performance this dominant from the Oilers rookies back to the mid-1990s. We mentioned an 11-4 game, David Oliver, 4 goals in that game. The Bears have had a couple blowout wins like this, but not nothing like this. This has been really impressive tonight from the Oilers rookies.
Kenny Cameron on for the third period. We should mention he went a perfect 32-0 for Nate. Won a championship last year. 32-0 for Kenny Cameron, who's from St. Albert. Off the face-off, the Bears go D-to-D in their own zone. It's Dylan Brado down the middle. And that will be an icing call again. 2 changes tonight. We've seen it come already. The delay of game is not a factor at the CIS level, and it's automatic rather than hybrid icing. Face-off for the Oilers back in the U of A zone.
Kenny Cameron had spent a year as a backup in Medicine Hat and spent the next 2 years with the top program in the Alberta Junior Hockey League, Spruce Grove Saints, coached by Jay McKee. He is now the head coach of the Vancouver Giants, who in his infinite wisdom elected to play Tyler Benson 4 consecutive preseason games. He got dinged up with a shoulder injury and has missed all 4 of the rookie tournament games. Chance we might see him at some point during the Oilers training camp.
I think my elbow's a little wet from that sarcasm dripping. Off the face-off, the Oilers will retrieve back behind their own, or behind the Golden Bear net, and it's going to be Russell, who tipped in a power play goal back in the second period. Almost had a chance for another one. Platzer fed him in front. Was kicked out to the point near the line. Bear, high slot. Platzer turns and fires, and that shot redirected wide. And now the Bears are chasing once again in their own zone at even strength. Wrist shot hammered wide by Christopher. Thrown back behind the net, Russell. Ducks behind the other side. Tried to flip it out in front for Christopher. Feeds the point near Milana. Crosses to Bear. 19 goals a year ago. Threw one toward the net. Batted down by Rahill. And finally, Alberta's able to clear to center. Stroked back in by Bear, and the Oilers will get a change here. Shots are 42-16 on the night in favor of Edmonton. And after falling behind 1-0, the Oilers scored 3 goals in a span of less than 3.5 minutes and haven't looked back. Bears rush in. Right to left, Cox gets it in deep, but it's chipped up the right-hand side to Chad Butcher. He'll gain the line. Miscommunication with Chase. The errant pass picked off by Lineker of Alberta, and then waiting too long to make a play with a puck was Hart. He got clobbered, and Becker rolled it in front where goaltender Kenny Cameron's able to fall on it. You mentioned the third goaltender for the University of Alberta, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe is Brendan Burke the only NHL draft pick currently on the University of Alberta roster?
Ryan Rahill.
Ryan Rahill, yes.
Drafted by New Jersey, so.
Yes.
Not signed.
5th round a couple years ago.
Yeah, he went 1 round before Brendan Baddock of the Edmonton Oil Kings was selected by the Devils, and they signed the Oil Kings captain this past spring.
Burke's son of Sean. Here's a backhander sent wide. He was a 6th round pick, was Brendan Burke. Right-hand side, Deschanel. That, of course, came back in 2013, the year Platzer was drafted, and Ben Becker, who has the puck now. For the Oilers in the offensive zone. Left half boards. Edmonton on top 5-2. Here's Butcher. Challenging Lineker. Works himself free from the left half boards. Lineker plays it back. Here's Sawyer, unable to get it out. Thrown in front by Chase. That puck had too much air under it and eluded Chad Butcher. Rushing back in. Deschanel has a step. Tried to drop pass. Thought he was hooked. No penalty was called. And the Bears find the puck in the corner. Unable to clear was Legault. Settled down by Jones. Tried to get it in. Dug out, lofted back the other way by Keyser. This may be icing, and there's the whistle with 3.5 gone by in this third period. Edmonton 5, the University of Alberta 2.
Well, there's 7 players not playing tonight. I mentioned the fact that Tyler Benson is a scratch. Aaron Irving could be the captain of the Edmonton Oil Kings. My guess is Irving, Valentine, and Jenkins, all 20-year-old D-men, will be returned to their junior teams.
Before main camp.
Before main camp. Carson Stadnick likely to be, I think he'll probably be released. He's going to head to the University of Saskatchewan. Thomas Foster, another 20-year-old, back to the Vancouver Giants. I'm going to be interested to see what happens to Chad Butcher. He's played very well, but I could see Lane Bauer and Aaron Irving playing at Rogers Place on Saturday night with the Edmonton Oil Kings.
Up the right-hand side. I know Butcher through 2 games. Certainly impressed with the staff with this grit. Off a turnover, a wrist shot, score, and somehow Bauer had backed into Nick Ellis, and Ellis, as a result, never saw the shot coming his way. It found the top half of the net. Released by Nichols, and it's 5-3.
Lucas Nichols was not an elite finisher at the major junior level. He had 1 20-goal season for Bob Torrey's Tri-City Americans, but you mentioned Lane Bauer sort of caught an odd position for Lane, and I mean, you can't stop what you can't see. It's about as good a screen as you're going to possibly have.
And again, you wonder with the puck hovering out near the perimeter what Bauer was doing back there. Nichols, the Tri-City American, brings the University of Alberta within 5-3. Pop back behind the net. It's an unassisted goal for Lucas Nichols, really a nothing play, and the Bears look for more. I mean, they've scored 3 goals tonight, Bob, and really all 3, you'd have to say, are easily preventable. Back behind the net, Legault, centered, and that was intercepted by Bennett. Ahead to Puljujarvi. So the Oilers lead down to 2. This game is not over. Crooks forces a giveaway, and then a beautiful steal by Puljujarvi on Raczynski. Sets up a 2-on-1. Pass a little behind Bennett, and then he was late with a feed to Kajula. Puljujarvi will hold his man up long enough for Kajula to have a chance to keep it in the zone, but Raczynski, to his credit, muscled it safely outside. Niemelainen back together for Edmonton, and it's off to Ethan Bear. Whips a pass ahead for Bauer. Determined to make up for it, drops it. Colin Shirley, a shot along the ice, stopped by Siemens. High slot, Suzel lets one fly, and that was blocked. Rebound held in by Bear, and he took a hit from Trevor Cox in doing so. Rahill threw it back behind the net, turned over by Brado, but the Oilers late to the loose puck. Good work by Bauer to hold the zone. You can tell he wanted to make up for that miscue, but ultimately it's Trevor Cox the other way, right to left of the Bears. Threw it on net, and a stick save made by Nick Ellis, who has not been as sharp as he was on Friday in beating Vancouver with 34 saves. Still got a 5-3 lead here. Behind the net and centering was Jaden Hart. That puck did not get through. Broken up and trickles free for Niemelainen. 14.5 to play in regulation. Oilers on the rush up the middle. Suzel forced to give it up as he hit the attacking zone on the left-hand side, and now Nichols charges in, right wing, backhander on net, easy save for Nick Ellis, and now a bit of a pile-up behind. No meaningful blows landed here, but I mean, you take a look at the 3 Bear goals, and I know it was a decent move by Tanner Clarkson, but the fact that he was able to come from behind and backhander with no real resistance, I mean, Ellis was nowhere to be found, and then a puck battle pop comes in front. I mean, certainly off a set play or catching the Oilers napping, there's been nothing for the Bears. 3 goals that ultimately Nick Ellis is going to want to clean up. Nothing he could do in the third one with Bauer backing up in front of him. But I guess what I'm saying is Edmonton has allowed the University of Alberta to hang around a bit in a game they've utterly dominated. Off the draw, Russell through center ice. He'll move in. Right wing boards, cuts behind the net, drop to the ice surface, a blast by Betker, and a nice save by Kenny Cameron through a partial screen. Bladser was in front of him, and Cameron was able to reach up and find that puck with exactly 6 minutes having elapsed in the final period. The score remains 5-3 Oilers.
I like Cameron's size if I'm Serge Lajoie. He's a bigger guardian. Ben Becker, Jerry Fleming telling us today, probably the most consistent defenseman in Penticton for the Oilers rookies.
Well, and again, he's better with his feet, which needed to improve, and same with mostly his puck skills are what we've really noticed, Bob. I mean, at times he really struggled in that area. First two camps we saw him.
Can he carve out a career for himself along the lines of an Adam Party type?
Lead pass, right-hand side. Stephane Legault cuts in. A wrist shot dropped briefly and then held by Nick Ellis. That was good work, a good chance for Legault, and Ellis able to cover up for his 16th save of the evening. 13:39 left in regulation. A face-off coming to his left.
One thing we have not seen, and that we've not seen in the last several years, there's hardly any antagonism in this game. I mean, you go back 15 years and you were usually good for a couple fights and about 20 or 30 hellacious hits.
Your eyes are misting up, Bob.
Yeah.
Off the draw, driven off the boards.
86 to
covered by Ellis.
You know my theory on this. 86 to 92. Highest scoring time in the NHL and the most fights. I mean, it was a thing of absolute beauty. And it parlayed its way down the list level as well. There were some intense competitive battles with some legendary tilts and some huge hits.
Off the draw, Dylan Brado will send it off the boards. Lunging for the puck is Nick Ellis. I really believe, I mean, if you look at the National Hockey League, the peak for me was the 1992-93 season, and there's a reason why NHL 94 remains, without question, the most popular NHL hockey video game of all time, and that's because it was coming off that 93 season.
You're also a child of the Bo Jackson technical.
Here's a turnover. Deschanel, wide open net, and muffing it was Matt Benning, and by the time he got the shot away, Cameron had scrambled back into position and made the save, and the Oilers miss another empty net up the right-hand side. Nice reach by Chase to deny Clarkson a scoring chance. Loose in the right corner, thrust back behind the net, Ethan Bear. Oh, here's a steal. Wrist shot, Jaden Harden, a right pad save made by Ellis. And the Oilers got a bit sloppy here. An outstretched Chase unable to reel in a right-wing lead pass, and that'll turn into an icing call against the Oilers, who no doubt are a bit frustrated on their bench, thinking this game should be long over. 7-3, 8-3, maybe even 9-3, and yet the Bears are sitting there with a chance to win this game with 12.5 to go.
Well, Matt Benning's done some good things defensively, but he would have liked to have finished that. We were talking about Bo Jackson Tecmo Bowl. He might have been able to bury that one.
Benning and Bauer with just gimmies tonight. It's one of the reasons why you play preseason. Here's Deschanel. In over the line, left-hand side. The hands sometimes still catching up with the body. At this point, of course, everyone arrives in shape. That was not the case in 92-93. Right corner, Joey Bennick. Curling off the right half boards. A centering pass broken up. Picked off by Sawyer Lang. Lead pass for Graham Craig. Left circle, his shot muscled aside. They were still playing, 10-11 exhibition games back then. And, of course, in the 80s, I think it was a bit more than that, 13-14.
And two-a-days and
different world. Niemelainen ahead to Puljujärvi. Dropped it off, and it's Kajula. Back to the point, Niemelainen. Shot blocked. And that's where you worked your way into shape. You had 10 or 11 games to do so. Here come the Bears the other way. Cooper tried to center. That was broken up. Flicked away by Ellis up to Puljujärvi. He can really move that puck. That one into the skates of Kajula. He coughed it up. Now you've got Keyser ahead. Quick shot Nichols looking to fool Ellis again. That time a save by the Oiler netminder, and the puck waved into the corner. Wild cross seamer is going to be picked off the half boards by Bennick. His pass a little too far for Puljujärvi to catch up to. Legault has some room down the middle. Gets around Detzel, and then a driving Betker again with an alert play to close distance quickly and make sure Legault did not get a scoring chance. And now he'll kind of bear wrestle him to the ice surface, and no doubt will probably have some coincidental 2-minute roughing minors handed out at 8:59 of this third period. Shot still 44-21, but the Bears are starting to get a few looks as the Oilers have been a little spotty at times here in the third.
I'd say 2 years ago, Stephane Legault beats Ben Becker with that inside move, but the improved footwork from Becker was able to negate, Alberta.
He had Detzel.
Yeah.
But Betker came over, and that was well done.
You know, you're talking about the Bears' highest returning scorer in Stefan Legault, and let's not forget, one year for the Edmonton Oil Kings in 12-13, that was the year they lost Griffin Reinhart and Trevor Cheek in the playoffs and lost to Portland in 6 games. Stefan Legault had 22 points in 22 playoff games for the Edmonton Oil Kings, so he was a productive major junior player, great penalty killer.
Key part of that 2012 team that won the Western Hockey League championship along with Raczynski.
Did he not have 5 goals in one playoff game, if I recall?
Thought he did. I would trust you on that, Bob. You and your elephantine memory. Up the left-hand side, Colin Shirley. I used to think I had a good memory, and then I met you 6 years ago. Here's Caleb Jones. Although meeting you changed my thinking on a lot of different subjects. Lead pass left side, Colin Shirley. You broke the mold. Here's Jones walking in. Tried a shot, and that was deflected. And the Bears are going to come the other way here. 3-on-3, a little out of the reach of Lineker, and that allows Bear to recover. Punched it along the boards, held in by Crooks. He has one of the 3 Golden Bear goals tonight. Oilers beat the Bears 6-3 last year. They're up 5-3 with 10:05 to play. Here's Butcher on an outlet from Jones. Drops it off Colin Shirley. Winding his way behind the net, looking for a second goal of the night. Shot and a save made by Cameron. Rebound Butcher. Nudged it wide, then forced it out to Ethan Bear. One-timer Niemelainen didn't get much on it. That was fanned into the corner by Sawyer Lang, who will reverse hard up the right-hand side and find an opening for Cole Lineker. He stumbled, then found it for Tanner Clarkson. He'll get it in deep, and Alberta will change. Forechecking is Josh Durko. Bear shields him from the puck and drops it to Niemelainen. Right side for Chase. Put a lot of air under that puck. Whistled off the corner glass, and Cameron with a giveaway. Butcher picked it off the end boards. Sends it across to Cale Detzel. His wrist shot redirected just wide by topping the Bears defenseman. And now Yadlowski looks to clear. Reverse back behind the net for Topping. Looking left side for Cox. Then Topping gets himself in trouble. Eluded Deschanel and cleared back to center alertly. Chase to Butcher. Nearly turned it over to Philp. Then recovered the puck and skates all the way back into his own zone. This is not a maneuver that my partner cares for. But here, Butcher will make it work. Big hit. Rahill lands a shot, but Deschanel walks right through it and drives in from the right-hand side. And that's going to be an offside against the Oilers. But even that play has to make Deschanel feel good because he absorbs a hard shot. Remember, it was a shoulder injury that sidelined him last year, and he hasn't found the back of the net tonight. But he's still been physically engaged, took a punishing shot there, and I think by the end of this 4-game segment, he's going to feel like he's all the way back.
I think that right now Jerry Fleming, as coach of the Bakersfield Condors, is looking at a guy like Deschanel and to a lesser extent Bennick, because I just think you have to factor in the absence last year for Deschanel and wondering whether or not, you know, a guy like that can help him out somewhere in his top 9 and give him a little bit of offense.
Up the right-hand side, a steal. Lobbed ahead by Taylor Cooper, and now left corner. Working for the puck is Nichols. 4-player pile up in the corner, and Russell breaks away from traffic with the puck on his backhand. He'll send it back to Becker as the Oilers pinned in their own zone. An alert steal by Cooper, and now the Bears look to ratchet up the pressure. They're still only down 2 goals and more than 8 minutes remain. Platzer scoots away. Moves it up the left-hand side. Another offside call whistled against Edmonton. And it remains 5-3 in favor of the Oiler prospects. And again, Bob and I, your preseason coverage, and we kind of lopped this into the preseason, even though it's not an NHL preseason game. Our first NHL preseason game will be from Rogers Place. It'll be Bob and I's first broadcast in Rogers Place, and it's 7 o'clock Monday night in a split squad affair against the Calgary Flames. Off the draw, up the right-hand side. Here's an opening for Rhett Raczynski. Trying the left wing boards. Bennick there to steal that one. And the Oilers quickly in transition left to right. Kajula to Puljujarvi. Pulls up in the left half boards, crosses, and Crooks anticipated that maneuver and made the steal. But Puljujarvi got right back into the play, took it from Legault, and all of a sudden it's 3-on-1. Kajula to Bennick at his feet. Quick shot, Puljujarvi, and a save made by Cameron. That was not a clean 3-on-1 by any stretch of the imagination. But somehow the Oilers were able to get a chance. I mean, they were all bunched together. The passing was not crisp, but they still managed a chance. Here's Kajula racing in from the left-hand side, trying to wrap around left pad save made by Kenny Cameron, who forced him out wide and then was able to recover by pushing Hart off the right skate. Jaden Hart entered the zone without the puck. That would have been offside. Bears get it right back in. Hart to Cox, drag move. Not much of a shot, though, steered aside easily by Nick Ellis, and Niemelainen will pounce on the rebound with less than 7 to go. Christopher back to center. Third period, Clare Drake Arena, Edmonton 5, and the University of Alberta 3. Platzer gained the line right side, puts the brakes on top of the circle, sifts a pass across to Niemelainen. Poke checked away by Tanner Clarkson. Left in the corner for Russell. Clarkson and Russell jousting, and now a shot Niemelainen. That's redirected harmlessly into the corner by Mitch Topping. Battled for, controlled, and stolen. Driving to the net, Russell, and the puck popped loose, and that allowed Cameron to dive on it with 6:26 to play in the third. 5-3 Oiler prospects, and while the shots are still a whopping 47-21 difference, the Bears are not quite out of this one.
Who do you like from the Oiler rookies? I mean, who's been there? Paul Yarby there started, stripped the play, should have had a clear break. Instead, the pass came behind and went to the trailer. Joey Bennick. Yes, he's obviously one of the 3 stars tonight. He's absolutely dominated play. Caleb Jones had some good moments.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, defensively, and I don't know whether you're talking about this game or the Penticton tournament as a whole heading into main camp, but I think really Puljujärvi was such a given that you start looking at the fence, and Becker and Jones, Benning had some moments, and Ethan Bear, and you start saying, well, the Oilers have some coming down the pike defensively that could turn out to be players. Weak shot by Detzel from long range, easy save made by goaltender Kenny Cameron, and the Bears walk it back in. I know Bennick's got the big points numbers, but I don't see him, Bob, as a contender for a spotted drive coming from the point by Josh Durko was deflected into the waiting arms of Nick Ellis. A faceoff coming to his right. I agree with you. Deschanel seems to have a touch. Tonight, he doesn't have a goal, but he's been physically active. And, another scrapper that might have earned himself an NHL preseason game is a guy like Chad Butcher. I know he's just an invite, but wouldn't shock me if he found a way to squeeze into his game as well. Center ice Benning, in over the line, top of the circles, wrist shot pushed wide. I mean, in terms of the other draft picks, the other one obvious for me is Niemelainen. And we've got a tangle situation back the other way. Benning and I believe that's Craig who will be pried apart. 5:28 to go in the third period. Niemelainen, you start thinking that could be a major value pick as well. So another blue line guy. I mean, Kajula's been okay, but he hasn't necessarily jumped off the page at me. I don't know how you feel about it.
I agree. Puljujärvi has jumped off the page.
Yes, absolutely. But in terms of the other draft picks, I mean, Platzer's had a lot of chances, hasn't buried. I don't think Chase has done enough to really make a meaningful impact with the coaching staff. So Puljujärvi, for me, is by far and away the guy that's jumped out in the forward group. The blue line is another story. I mean, you got 3 or 4 guys who've certainly been noticeable in their improvement. Out to Yudlowski, top of the right circle. He'll dangle in. The coincidentals leave us with 5-on-5. Again, just a tangle up in the corner. So Legault, left corner, with his team down 2. Bears trying for a late rally here. Rhett Raczynski fighting through traffic in the form of Butcher. He'll drop it off. Centering pass beautifully done, and a save made on Rhett Raczynski. That was well executed by Yudlowski, and now a drive from Topic sails just wide from the high slot. The Oilers aren't out of the woods yet. Here's Butcher coming the other way, left wing, looking for the drop pass, and he banged it off a skate. And Deschanel would have loved an opportunity there. 2-on-2. Over the line, Philp has had a quiet night and missed with a wrist shot out of the glove side. Chase does not get it out. Dylan Brado, drag move shot, and a rebound covered by Nick Ellis. It was loose for a moment, but as he stretched out for that shot, he's able to make the save. And you got a face-off coming to his right with 4:27 to go in the third period.
Whatever you thought of Patrick Russell? He goes to the net. He's engaged physically. Does he get there enough for you?
Well, I think Patrick Russell, for him, this is an opportunity knocks type of situation. I think he's on the list of players who's contributed, but doesn't necessarily jump off the page at you. In other words, I don't think he's going deep into main camp per se. I assume that's why what you're asking me is who are guys that could be sticking around for a while and may have a chance to really.
I'm also asking you for tonight because I want to know who you're picking as the
we're looking at stars.
Because I've got Puljujärvi and Jones 1-2.
Off the face-off, Dylan Brado sees it blocked, and then a drive from the point.
How about Betker?
I was just going to say, Ben Betker for me may not be on the score sheet, but I think overall he's handled the responsibilities. Granted, they're not massive, but he's worn the C with some pride, and he's played like it. Here's Joey Bennett up the left-hand side. Wrist shot from the circle and a save made by goaltender Kenny Cameron. I dare say Betker would be most improved from my standpoint at this camp. In terms of one camp to another, guys we've seen before, he's really elevated his game. Kajula forces Brado into a near giveaway, and Cameron's able to get on top of that. 3:40 to go in the third period. 5-3.
Can't justify giving in a game in which the Golden Bears they've been outshot 49-25.
Yeah, it's hard to find a star for the Bears.
Yeah, they haven't had the puck enough.
What about you, Bob? I mean, do you have a sleeper that might stick around at main camp longer than the average Joe would think?
Well, Platzer might get an extra look here depending upon what happens tomorrow between Russia and Finland.
Well, I mean, if he had gotten a couple of breaks off goalposts, we might be talking about him as a guy who really stepped up and had a great camp. Just hasn't had the scoring touches he has in previous camps. Bears get it in deep, operating in the offensive zone. A game that's still sitting out there a little bit, but time becoming a factor. 3:20 to play as the Oilers chip it out. Braden Christopher down the middle. Cut off by Topping and Yudlowski. The puck for a moment loose in the circle. Scrambling over to make a play was Nichols. Batted around Christopher right side of the net. Drives hard and is checked by both Topping and Yudlowski off the puck. Bears cannot get it out. Platzer feeds the point. It's Caleb Jones. Backhanded down low. He's been awfully poised with the puck tonight and been rewarded with a couple of assists. Sent off the glass and out by Riley Keyser. 2:45 to play. Oilers 5, Bears 3. Here's Colin Shirley. Has a goal tonight as well for Edmonton. Just dangling with the puck, waiting for the line change to take full effect. Now breaking free left circle, and then he got a little too pretty trying to sift one down low to Betker. Out to Suzel. Betker deep left corner. He won't be there too often should his game elevate to other levels. Shot by Detzel. That's redirected. Betker, wrist or toward the net, batted down and cleared by Topping. Here's Raczynski. One last push for the Bears, perhaps. Legault, right wing, wrist shot blocked. Crooks off to Brado, a shot, and he tried to squeeze it high blocker, and Ellis got a piece to deflect it out of play with 2:03 remaining in the third period, and Edmonton maintaining a 5-3 lead. And again, as we head into main camp tomorrow, finishing up medicals, fitness testing, and the like, and then on the ice for the first time on Friday, and then we'll have the preseason opener for you, split squad game, Edmonton-Calgary, Rogers Place. We'll have it live for you on 6:30, Ched, 7 o'clock face-off. And Bob and I, well, we are eager to get in that new building. Check it out. Off the draw, Deschanel.
Now, you think they'll have passes for us by then, Jack?
Up the right-hand side. Maybe for you, not me. Here's Matt Benning coming out of the right-hand corner. Centering pass just off the mark. It's going to be chased down by Raczynski. He'll chip it down low for Crooks. Stolen away. Swept by Jones over to Deschanel. For the moment, Cameron remains in the pipes. 90 seconds to go, 5-3. Chase weaving his way into the offensive zone. And if he kills some more time here, well, the Bear hopes for a miracle comeback will be just about dead. But as it is, Alberta busts out right to left. Lead pass, advancing as Craig. Missed the net from long distance. Big hop, and here comes Chad Butcher. That'll keep Cameron in the pipes. Butcher brings it into the offensive zone. Oilers change one more time. And with 1:05 to go, Chase nearly forced a turnover. Jaden Hart will retrieve, but now the Bears are just about out of time. Trevor Cox in over the line. Pass into the skates of Rahill. Checked by Kajula. Threw one in front. One time by Brado. High and wide off the glass. Ricochet handled by Bennett. Beautiful pass. 2-on-1. Here's Kajula into the empty net. He scores from the blue line. 45 seconds left. The Bears had just vacated the pipes, just pulled Cameron off, and Kajula looked up. I think he was a bit surprised, and he just almost gave a half apologetic glance at Puljujarvi before flipping it into the open net for the goal that will seal the deal with 45 seconds left.
Well,
Edmonton 6-3. That was the score they won last year.
And rather a fitting end to this one, frankly, based on the domination that the Oilers rookies have exhibited tonight here at Clare Drake Arena.
Give Bannock an assist. And Betker will get credit for an assist. So there you go, Bob. Now we got a guy on the score sheet who's going to be a star. Off the draw, Bears up the right-hand side. His ears must have been burning. Threw it back behind the net. He wanted to erase any doubt. Up the right-hand side, you've got Detzel. Oh, a clear that's stolen. Wrist shot Nichols, and that was denied by Nick Ellis. One of his best stops of the night. His 24th save protects the 6-3 lead. The Oilers made it 6-3 on their 50th shot on goal of the hockey game, as Kajula, as he did the other day, with a multi-point performance. This time it's 2 goals for Drake Kajula. The second being an empty netter. One last face-off here with 10 seconds to play. Controlled by the Oilers. A length of the ice flipped by Russell will roll dead before it crosses the Bears goal line, and that will be all. The Edmonton Oilers, their prospects have now beaten the University of Alberta 3 years in a row. The last 2 by identical 6-3 scores, and in doing so, have evened up the 26-year rivalry between these two squads at 13 wins apiece. The Oilers won 8 of the first 13. The next 13, 8 belong to the Bears, but the last 3 in favor of Edmonton. And this one, perhaps not even as close as the 6-3 score would indicate, as the Oilers roll up 50 shots on goal, just 9 in the third period, in which they entered with a 5-2 lead. The Bears countered with 11. The final shots 50-26, and the Edmonton Oilers prospects, those who will stick around for main camp, do so brimming with confidence after a perfect 4-0 slate.
Well, part of it's just the team makeup, and I think the lessons learned from that 2013 year when we went to Penticton, and really the Oilers rookies were outgunned during that year. That was the year Darnell Nurse went in the first round of the draft. The Oilers had a lot of toughness, but they had Clefbaum there and Nurse there, but they lacked scoring. They lost here at Clare Drake Arena as well. But since then, there's been an upgrade, obviously, in the talent level. You know, Leon Draisaitl played in both the 14 and 15 game. Last year, Draisaitl, McDavid, Nurse played in that game. And I think that Bob Green and some of the people working behind the scenes, Craig McTavish, they have added good support scores. They've also had a successful NCAA recruiting year, bringing in both Drake Kajula along with Matt Benning on the back end. You get some experience there, some 22-year-olds. You've got guys like Betker, Jack, along with Platzer that have played in this event for a few years as well. That helps. And then you get, last year we saw, McDavid and Draisaitl, and this year we saw Puljujarvi. Puljujarvi was the best player on the ice. He just dominated every time he was out there. A little bit surprised Kajula didn't find him with that empty netter, given the amount of setups that Puljujarvi was involved with. But that doesn't really matter that much. For Puljujarvi, it's the next step, right? And we're going to see, to me, he looks like a guy capable of playing right away and on the power play right away. Like, he is a very...
How much of that will be determined by main camp? Is it basically for him in his hands? Yes. With a couple of solid NHL preseason games, he's on the opening night roster?
It is not out of the realm of possibility for me. We know Everly's going to be on the team. We know Cassian's going to be on the team on the right side. It would not be out of the realm of possibility that both Puljujarvi and, theoretically, Versteeg as a PTO would be in the mix.
As your second and third line right wingers.
Potentially, and people say, well, where does that put Yakupov? And so we'll see. But I could see the Oilers signing Versteeg and signing Greiba, but a guy that in Puljujarvi, I don't think he did anything to dissuade anybody in the organization for believing that he could not play as a top 9 forward right away. And you'd have the luxury of potentially be able to make it easy on him. We're going to go down. Or what are we going to go down? We got Tom Gazzola downstairs, or just?
No, he's just indicating that every once in a while he wants you to look at.
Okay. Well, that's what we want to do.
That's okay.
How's it going? Ben Becker was a guy on the back end that helped himself out here.
Well, that's what I want to get to. I mean, if you could cut to the quick a little bit here and just tell me where the Oilers are at in terms of their overall depth in the organization now as compared to 2013. And the reason I ask you that question is injuries have really curtailed Edmonton's growth and development in the standings over the last 3 years. Are they better equipped to deal with some of those injuries that inevitably pile up now than they were 3 years ago?
Well, again, getting some support players out of the NCAA like Drake Kajula, like Matt Benning on the right side in a positional area of need for the Oilers organization is going to help them out. Puljujärvi, getting two players coming, Puljujärvi with a chance to make an impact right away as a rookie. Two players coming in on a PTO trying to play their way onto the team. Eric Ryba, along with Chris Versteeg, who we mentioned before. That changes the complexion. So the preseason, there's more options there to the coaching staff, and there's jobs to be won and lost. And there's no guarantee Anton Lander's going to make the team. I mean that. Like, if I pencil in the team right now, I might think that I got 13 forwards, not including Lander, and 6 or 7 defensemen, and then obviously the 2 veteran goaltenders with Talbot as the number 1 and Gustafsson as a veteran depth backup number 2 guardian. So there's lots of stories to be told here.
I've got one final storyline for you, and it's the one. It's the one on my mind, and I think it should be the one on everyone's mind. What do you do with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Leon Draisaitl after the given that Connor McDavid is your number 1 center?
Well, Jack, when we were in Penticton, I polled 4 different organizations. I said, tell me what we know McDavid's going to,
Sure. He's the number 1 center.
He's the number 1 center. Draisaitl number 1. It's Nugent-Hopkins number 1. And 3 of the 4 organizations said the Oilers have 2 number 1 centers of the future because they all think that Draisaitl's number 1 and that Nugent-Hopkins is a very good number 2. And your question is, do they all play in the top 6? And I think at times they will, and at times they won't. And that's part of, and Versteeg might play a factor in that.
Now that is what you call a bailout. How do they open main camp? Draisaitl at center or on the wing?
I think he comes back and, he's got, he doesn't open main camp because he's over at the World Cup of Hockey.
I gave you an escape pod.
There we go.
Bob, I look forward to it.
All
Again, we'll have the preseason opener for you live from Rogers Place. That's a Monday night tilt, 7 o'clock right here on your home of the Oilers, 6:30 CHED. It's going to do it from here at Clare Drake Arena. We always enjoy our annual visit, and the Edmonton Oilers rookies have enjoyed it. 2 of the last 3 years, wins in this building, a win at Rexall Place a year ago, and now a series that's dead even after more than a quarter century at 13 wins apiece. The Oilers behind a couple of goals from Drake Kajula, another multi-point effort from Jesse Puljujärvi. Win going away tonight, managing 50 shots on goal in a 6-3 romp over the University of Alberta Golden Bears. For Reed Wilkins, Bob Stauffer, I'm Jack Michaels saying good night. And Reed will have more post-game coverage for you when we return to the Jake. For now, we're stepping aside. But ladies and gentlemen, we'll talk to you on Monday. And the pleasure tonight from the University of Alberta was all mine.